It's time. Our last matchup of a qualifying game. Eclipse versus Valentines is on the horizon, and today I have the honor, the responsibility to introduce the one and only Papa Direwolf. Welcome to the desk, officially this time.
Yeah, thank you so much. It's always sad when I have to jump in earlier because we have some housekeeping, but I do think the best of 5 between Night Owls and Synapse was going good. We had some technical difficulties at the beginning. Yesterday, we struggled a lot more with the lobbies and the servers, so shout out to Behavior for giving us a little bit of mercy for today, and a shout out to the teams as well, because they were doing quite good, coming in well prepared, and it had an unfortunate ending with the DC on the side of the Night Owls killer sealing the deal maybe a little bit early, because there was the chance to get that survivor that they really needed. But that is also part of ComDD. Sometimes you are struggling a little bit with your PC, a little bit with your internet, so nothing too wild. But the upcoming match is going to be a wild one, because let me tell you a little bit about what I heard about Valentines today. I unfairly treated them a little bit too much like the underdogs in this match. We were swiffing earlier with the team, and I said, well, if Valentines is going to take the win, that would be a huge upset. And some of the people disagreed and said it would be, and I feel bad now afterwards. But some team members here on DBDL said it would still be a little surprise maybe if Valentines is pulling it, but not as wild as you're claiming, because Valentines made a lot of great steps and is far more than the newcomer team as we had them in the Weekend Cup last summer. So I'm actually looking forward to see what they are bringing on the stage half a year later.
And they also seem very lovely in general, the way they describe themselves, right? Because they say they aim to be the best team in the future, and they say they have a great chance now more than ever. So they seem to have realistic expectations going into this. They know this is probably going to be a challenge, especially going up against a team like Eclipse. And we have a lot to say about Team Eclipse later on, let me tell you that, because there are a lot of household names on this roster already. But Valentines have been founded in 2023. They've been practicing ever since, and they even tried to compete in All Hallows League, but they didn't manage to qualify. So this time, they're coming in with a mindset, they've practiced, they've improved, and they're coming back stronger, and they're trying to prove themselves. So I'm very excited to see what they're going to bring to the table.
Yeah, absolutely. And you talked about the opponent that is trying to maybe shorten the story of Valentines a little bit. It would be great if Valentines is making it into the main stage. We have seen in the All Hallows League with the team Unoya how hyped the DBDLeague community also is seeing a new team that is able to put some pressure onto the stronger ones. Unoya did a pretty good job, I think, and kind of introduced the hype a little bit for the newcomer teams. And now Valentines has the chance to be exactly this team that can get themselves into a great story here. By the way, if you are interested in the participants, I think you should hit !Discord in the chat right now, because our producer Savannah was putting together all the people and all the rosters today. And when we are looking at Eclipse, you teased it a little bit, Blue, we have someone like Mathis, Hitboxes, MRK, Tech, I believe, is quite known as well. Jer is quite known. They have Los Gitanos, a little bit of a wild name, but that's only because Epic doesn't allow a rename. Also a known player behind that name. So that might be a bit scary for Valentines here, going into the match with a bunch of experts.
Yeah, also their captain Kurosh, who's, by the way, the only player who's not EU on this entire matchup. Everyone else is going to have excellent ping connections. Kurosh has been a household name for years now. He's known in DBDL. Mathis, obviously, like you said, he's one of our own. He's been around for ages. His Booba, can confirm, very scary. And on the other hand, we have multiple people whose former played on a cult. So not only do they bring in a bunch of experience, they also have been playing with each other for a long time, which has to get taken into consideration, I think, because individual experience is great, but team experience is even better.
Absolutely. And this is potentially where Valentines, the potential lies, right? Because Valentines, when we are imagining that they are this group of talents that is really trying to get deeper and deeper into the scene, you might say, okay, individual skill matters, the chase time on the survivor matters, and that is all important, but sometimes it can be this chemistry that is making such a difference when you're in a difficult spot and you really need a recovery right now. Staying calm and collected in the VC, not going to panic, instead giving each other clear instructions and making some sort of a comeback. Also, big shout out to Eclipse and Valentines. We are already loading into the first trial here, so we are not having as much time as expected. The sets are going to be Dracula, Spirit, Leech, Singularity, and Cenobite. Welcome. You're welcome for this very quick information, Blue, because we have to get one thing in. Your prediction: Valentines or Eclipse, newcomer or veterans? Who is it going to be?
Eclipse. I'm so sorry for Team Valentines, but I think the experience is just going to take over. I do hope that we're going to see some close sets, because Valentines, they are trying to prove themselves for their friends and fans that they have brought with them into DBDLeague. I'm going to throw it back to you. If you make me predict, you have to give a prediction as well.
I will go with Valentines, actually, because I got so hyped when I got corrected earlier that Valentines is stronger than I anticipate. It will be okay if Eclipse is taking this, and I will accept it, you could say so. But for the scene in general, I think it's important that we are having strong newcomers, that teams are staying motivated to learn the game, scrim a lot, gain the experience. So it would be exciting if Valentines is making it, and carried by this hope, I'm going to vote for them here on the prediction. And Tutti Frutti is getting a very big hitbox on the survivor here through the pallet a little bit in the wolf form. I can already see the chat spamming "Ahoo" again, as this became a little bit of the move after the wolf is taking a hit, and hitboxes is going down surprisingly fast here.
That's an early down, coming in at 52 seconds. Great start for Tutti, who possibly has one of the most amazing names we've ever had on DBDLeague. Let's be honest. I'm gonna love casting this. Hitboxes, like you said, going down. No generator done just yet. Let's see if Tutti Frutti can find the generator that they've been working on so far. The pain rest proc certainly has come in his favor, going across the map, but still staying close to the hook, maybe spotting a survivor that could potentially rotate in to go and get the save.
First generator being completed on the side of Eclipse. That's always good when you're trading kind of 1-1. A hook stage for a generator. Survivor side always has a reason to feel good about it. Tutti Frutti opts to go for a little bit of scouting while hook protecting in the wolf form here. Switching back to the Dracula now. Wants to take care about this generator here, but doesn't go away from the hook so far, too far. So we can clearly see that he's expecting the incoming rescuer anytime soon, and I do think it's a valid strategy here to camp hitboxes into the second stage when downing under 1 minute. You definitely earned yourself that time, patiently waiting here to go for the attack with the Hellfire, forcing hitboxes immediately into the deep wound, and the goal is clear. We are going to see a tunnel out onto this survivor, creating this 3v1 scenario where it's very difficult for the survivor team to take over. Wolf form again, double dash potentially very soon. First one not going to happen, the second one not either. Our wolf is a little bit too optimistic here, but onto the window, and what are these hitboxes on the safe named survivor? Yeah, that is going to be the decisive strike as a revenge here, and that is very needed after taking that disgusting hit. And not only the decisive strike, together with that, two generators coming out here as well, and he's taking the next one. Hitboxes does not have the best time here.
One hit after another, the D-Strike trying to save the day, but hitboxes, nuh-uh, you're going back on hook in any shape or form possible. 3 gens, however, to counter this one out, the survivors have been on their objective. I don't think you have the time to camp the second one out. You need a bit more pressure on the survivors because everyone is full life, and we spot +5 wood collected. Does he make his way over towards the pellet? Chase still going strong, not pulling that one, so this is probably going to be a hit. Courage and Mathis now on the choice of going for the rescue, and there we go, hitbox back standing, but the question is for how long? For the people coming in to save him, at least for some more time. We do know the D-Strike is gone, however, the first hit being denied by some more wood straight to the face. Oh.
And we're trying. This time it's not going to work. Very understandable that Tutti Frutti got a little bit optimistic here because hitboxes had to take quite some hits here during the game, but it's not going to happen. Only the injury now coming out, and we can see it on the hut on the left side. The survivor team grinding through the generators here, trying to get them out of the way as quick as possible. Well, hitboxes is running for his life and trying to get some time in, but this is going to be the down right here. Another one that looked at least a little bit unfortunate. I feel bad for our survivor who is now successfully tunneled out, but sometimes the archives of CompDBD are saying tunneling out might be a great strategy on paper, but if you're not getting it done in time, you are going to find yourself very punished. We're also looking at the perks right there. Pain Res came only in clutch one time as our killer is not getting enough fresh hooks. So Blue, I'm even wondering, 3 stages on 3 individual survivors would have been quite better for Tutti Frutti considering this current situation here.
Oh, absolutely. And now we have 2 injured survivors, but 1 still standing. The one and only Mathis may be tasked with opening the gate or even trying to go for the rescue. But listen, these 3 stages on the tier 2 killer may have been not enough yet. You do need more stages. If you get another survivor out, oh my god, you're on the way to the gate. Mathis could technically still take a hit. Kurosh going on the ground, however. They're probably gonna opt to leave this? No? Yeah, Mathis also on the way to leave. Ra already out of the gate. So this is going to mark the end of trial number 1 with 6 stages. Can you be happy with that?
Yes and no. When we are looking at the game, how it went, I feel like Tutti Frutti can be happy that he got 3 additional stages. Yeah, so putting it back onto 6 stages is definitely something where you can put yourself a sticker into your killer journal and say, I played a nice end game. When we are looking at the trial overall and the result that you really would like to see in the first trial, that kind of sets the tone also for the remainder of the best of 5. I don't think that Tutti Frutti is too happy because we can also tell by the perks that he brought, the agitation usually really serving you by controlling a 3-gen area, carrying the survivors into an open field sometimes as well to make the rescue more difficult, but really indicating that he was trying to play around the hook positions that he's gonna get, and we didn't see anything like that. Most of the game was only trying to brutally get hitboxes out of the trial and not so much of the tactical aspect that agitation really brings. And then the pain res also shows us that he really expected some additional stages, especially on unique survivors, to get the slowdown in. And this also unfortunately didn't happen. So I feel like 2 of the perks that we have seen here in the trial could not really get some value because he was choosing an entirely different strategy. And I feel like taking this into account, 6 stages leave a bit of a sour taste.
Yeah, I wonder if you could have utilized them better by going for more additional fresh stages as well, like you said. I think 6 stages, it's not the worst, but we would like to have them spread out a little bit more because that's just better for your win condition, especially once all of those 5 gens have popped. This might be a rough one for the killer from Team Eclipse. Sorry, the other way around, because I think it's similar to what we've seen on the Dead Dog Saloon, for example, with the Ruin in our past trials, right? Because you brought the Ruin, it's a strong perk, similar to what he's brought here. The setup is pretty good, but you need to utilize these perks. And I wonder why we tend to forget, or we tend to get denied the value of the perks we brought.
Yeah, that's the difficulty, right? Planning is the one thing, and I believe that Tutti Frutti had a very cool idea. I think he was a little bit overwhelmed when also realizing how brutally efficient Eclipse is.
Oh, yeah.
Because even we were surprised how quick the generators are flying. And I think for a very long time during the game, like 58 or 56 seconds at the beginning to get the first down, this is not really giving you the impression that you need to speed up, right? You are feeling, okay, 1 minute for the first down. I have the time to camp into the second stage. My perks will guide me. And then I feel like during the mid game, it turned a little bit, because especially when he chose to guard Hitbox's hook so drastically, this was the moment where he allowed 3 Eclipse survivors to freely work on the generators, and there I think started the misjudgment a little bit of how quick Eclipse can really be. So I think on the paper it was a nice plan, and it could have really worked out, especially because Family Residence often guarantees a 3-gen, especially on the top side. There can be some disgusting spawns around the shack as well. So the agitation also makes kind of sense, but yeah, it fell a little bit apart. Will be interesting to see how Eclipse Killer is going to react to this, but basically you need 2 kills and another stage. So I don't think Eclipse Killer is going to feel too much of a pressure at the moment.
Yeah, I think that their survivors have done a really nice job, and it's also showing the experience that these survivors bring, because being able to push out all of these gens, we saw them doubling 1 gen continuously, right? So the coordination they have between each other is a prime example of the experience these survivors have brought in, because you require a lot of attention, a lot of communication, and being also aware of where the chase is taking place. Not once did we interrupt a generator that has been worked on, right? I mean, okay, fair enough, the shack generator has been interrupted once, but that was, I believe, very early on in the trial. But other than that, it was all very coordinated, even with hitboxes being chased the whole time and not really given too many options, too many pallets to work with. He wasted that time, he took him away from those generators, and the rest were just coordinated perfectly.
Yeah, and I think this is what wasn't really on the radar here, as you mentioned. Like, there is more on the survivor side, and even when they are going down after 58 seconds, there's this plan of, even if the chase is short, sometimes a shorter chase away from the active generators can be worth so much more than a double, triple of the chase time, but right next to the generators that are being active, because you can run the killer 3 minutes, but if the survivors that are currently working on the generators over there have to rotate away, start a new generators, then overall you're not really gaining something. And maybe he got a little bit too motivated there. So yeah, I think it's important for the counterplay now to kind of do the same on the survivor side. We will need by far more than 58 seconds in the first chase, because I doubt that Valentines will be able to enforce such a good coordination and efficiency on Tech here, because Tech from Eclipse is a very experienced killer, and he's probably going to smell what the survivors are trying to do and perhaps rotating to another survivor instead, or double checking on a generator. So it will be an interesting trial. The stakes are high for sure.
I wonder if the perk choice is also going to be different. I wonder if I think a lot of times it's like a choice in between something like Pain, Res, Pop, Eruption, or something like a Hex perk build with the Ruin coming in. So I wonder if that's going to be different, or if we're bringing some more of a chase perk or something out of pocket. Because if Tech expects to have really good chases, maybe he can even put something newer in, something fresh, something a relatively newer team might not think is going to be in the trial, might not have as much experience going up against.
Yeah, the experience factor. This is something that Valentines will have to deal with today a lot, I believe, and also when the people are watching this game, right? A lot of people will say Valentines doesn't have the experience. How are they going to match up with Eclipse here? And I think they need to also pull something crazy. We need a chase that is absolutely out of the mind here. And we already have the chance here at the main building that can be used for hiding a little bit. It can be used for quite some time waste. So let's see if Tech is able to sniff out a survivor. Literally sniffing out is the Wolfie here, the first survivor. And that seems to be the case. We're jumping over the window here. And that was very well done by the Valentines survivor, even though he's still going to get punished here with the injuries. Scrawler is with the responsibility now. First chase needs to set the tone, getting some time in for the survivor team, and 50-50 difficult decision here. Wolfie a little bit focused on the pallet though, keeping it safe here. This is allowing Scrawler, however, to get into the main buildings, winning some time for the team. Next pallet coming out, a filler pallet, but can be good because the Wolf with the double dashes cannot go over the rocks just yet. So you have the possibility to go for something successful. The down coming out right now, and we are getting the information immediately by our tournament analyst Toby. Big shout out, 1 minute and 13 seconds. So yeah, kinda the same chase as in the previous one.
Pretty good start. We did have a longer chase, so let's see if the same amount of generators can be popped in return. We already see one has been completed, but we're struggling to find another survivor. For now, we're stealthing things out, still trying to stay around the area where we hooked our first survivor. Scroller did do pretty good job. It was criminal that the first hit through the window got hit. I think if that wouldn't have gone through, that chase could have been prolonged even longer. The rest of Team Valentines for now are stealthing this out or focusing on the generators, probably further towards the main buildings. Some sort of scratch marks visible, maybe a rescue coming in? Not yet.
Not yet. Yeah, Scrawler is coming out from the hook, and we're going to chase the survivor down here towards the edge map, and the strategy seems to be the same as in the previous trial. Tech is going to focus Scrawler here for the down, and that's going to be the rehook right here. Never mind the decisive strike coming in. How unfortunate for both of our Wolfies here that the decisive strike was on the survivor that got targeted. Quick redown though, the decisive strike causing none more than 15 seconds, but before all of you are typing that 15 seconds is not so much, one generator will be completed because of that. An attempt of a flashlight save here is potentially telling us that Valentines realizes that they need a little bit of an extra time, yet taking too much risk is also not really what you want to try, and getting the third generator out of the way is pretty good here.
It's like a deja vu. We've been in this place before, Dyer. The D-strike coming in, and then another hit immediately. So the second stage unavailable for Scroller. 3 generators out of the way. So once again, Aragorn has to pick up the pace if he wants some more stages out of the way in the main building. Finding Tutti has already got the first hit from that failed flashlight save attempt, but we're going back immediately for the people play coming in as well. It feels like we're replaying the same trial. So let's see if Scholar can maybe switch it up and put up another chase that's gonna get the rest of the team enough time to get these last 2 generators out of the way.
Last 2 gens need to fly, and together with that also Scrawler, who needs to be pretty protected now. The team members are getting in some protection here, taking some hits in case he's being found again. Or Tech switched its strategy now, as he's realizing also that Valentines is definitely not the slowest team when we are talking about the generators here. 3bot is going to take the reset in the distance, might be the same onto Tutti and Ethi, but Tutti for now being the target here. Keep in mind, everyone, if we are getting additional individual survivors, we're going to have 6 stages as the win condition. 6 on 3 or 7 on 2 will be enough to go for the win here, and behavior is presenting us inside of
With
a
a very
locker.
in-depth view.
I hope that wasn't Dwight's underwear that we saw there. Otherwise, the devs are going to receive a very angry email from us. So it was a locker, ladies and gentlemen. Your kids at home are safe. Dwight back onto the chase here. Very nice movement here. Tricking the bats a little bit and emoting, not to pat the wolf, but to be able to move into the pallet. This is exactly why you do it. And when are you dropping that pallet? Why is it so early? Very unfortunate here for Valentines, dropping the pallet 2 business days earlier than it needs to be. This was the chance for a comeback. It wasn't taken. Very unfortunate.
I'm still in shock. That would have been amazing. Tutti didn't get on hook, and then the next run getting down in a pallet, and that would have been the most amazing save. Rescue coming in, however, because we can stop the trial here. Tutti once again in chase with the most amazing skin combination, by the way. This is just the most comp Dwight you have ever seen. We're holding on to that fire because we're waiting out for that BT. We want it gone immediately. No 2 hits onto Fruity. Now the dog coming in. Wolfie trying to get the down. Nice dodge with the crouch. Another mind game coming in. Tutti putting up some time on the timing, but the pallet is not going to be reachable. Back on the ground we are. Effie close, just trying to watch, enjoy the chase, you know, enjoy the show. And now we're leaving.
Yeah, now it's the unfortunate part here for Tutti, because he's also going to leave the trial with the next hook stage. So a lot of pressure now onto these 2 survivors here. We are having both of them hooked so far, so there's no advantage yet when we are talking about the individual survivors being hooked, but the fact that we are having 2 injured survivors on top here is definitely putting a little bit of additional danger onto the survivor team. Back towards the hook stage here. So there's not going to be a trade, not for Ethy, and unfortunately it's going to be the down as well. And yeah, there's no reason to pick that, as we're seeing Ada in the distance, and that's Scroller. That's also the survivor that would be dead if you're getting them onto the floor the next time. And now Valentines here a little bit falling apart, because having your down right next to the survivor that is on the hook at the moment is not really what's bringing you a lot of joy.
Yeah, this is not ideal. 3bot and Ethy, by the way, the survivors who have not been hooked yet. If you were to hook one of these 2 survivors and camp them out, that would mark the win, even if that last generator would pop. The generators aren't too close together. We're trying to get an out onto Fruity. We are already on 5 stages. 6 would be the tie. If you get another stage onto Ethy or 3bot, that would mark the win, even if everything else gets out of the gate, even if that 5th gen is gonna pop. So Tech, I promise you knows exactly what the win condition could be, and that could be it.
That very much is the decision here, with now this survivor also being on the hook. We are having the 6 stages on 3 individual survivors. So set number 1 is going towards Eclipse here. Congratulations for the first set point. But for Valentines, it's now going to be important getting out of the door here. We are seeing the Deliverance in the distance, making sure that Scroller can stay on one of the generators here and progressing us further into the end game. It's important for Valentines also not only to get this confidence for their own survivor game, but also saying to Eclipse, you may take set point number 1, but you are not able to really dominate us with your killer. We're still getting some outs here, and since Valentines will stay on the survivor side for the second set, this is going to be a pretty important trial. Double dash over here to get another pallet out of the way, and we're picking the ace to make sure that we're progressing a little bit towards the eliminations here. I really like how Tech is playing this, very calm, very collected, having a great mix between slugging when he knows that the pressure lands on the shoulders of Valentines, and then progressing the hook stages when no one is inside. So very well done here.
Very well done indeed. Also, to compliment the survivors of Team Valentines, I have to say I'm already impressed with their power on the objectives right from the get-go. And like you said, let's work on that mental, because that's going to be important. I do think they can already be proud of themselves. Let's see if Score can bring up another chase. That pallet's not going to be reachable. Nice dodge. The pallet is also in. And that marks another couple meters for you to bring between yourselves and the killer. Pack now leaving them, trying to keep that last gen from popping, because even though you've met your win condition, this trial isn't over until all of these survivors are put onto the ground. So that's exactly what we're going for. Ethy now in chase. Scratch marks very close back into the dog form. No pellet close-ish, but the window baby running against the wall is not going to save you from going down, and that marks another hook stage for Tech.
Now, Tech here getting Ethy back onto the hook, and we are once again inside of the Dracula. Second hook stage here onto Ethy, so we're slowly but steady going towards the 2v1 scenario here. Even it's important now that 3-bot is not being found right next to the hook. Ada is rotating over to get the safety here. We do not really have that promising pressure yet on the final generator, also because Tech is able to keep the generators together here. It's not so far of a travel time and travel distance for the killer to get the objectives together, so this was really well done and really well set up. 3-bot is taking the injury, and Tech opts to go back into the bat form, knowing that Ethy will be easy to tunnel. We have seen the decisive strike earlier, so I think someone is facing elimination very soon.
Back on the hunt, getting that killer instinct, trying to get onto the survivor and getting that another one out of the trial. That's a task he's trying to fulfill right now. Back into the bat, trying to get close enough to Scroller this time. First hit coming in, all survivors injured. Nice pressure across the map. The window is going to be met, but we're slowly but surely starting to put pressure on that last generator. How long can Scroller keep Tech busy? Oh no!
This is the big question. Squad is not taking anything because the door frame is stronger than Valentines' survivor roster here. Very unfortunate that he got stuck there in the corner of the main building, but it was maybe still enough for 3-bot and Ethy to get that final generator. Wolfie is coming in, but the final generator coming out here. We have a lot of photo finish generators today, that's for sure, but very well done for Valentines here to get all the generators done, putting themselves in a little bit of a better win condition. And yeah, I think Valentine's survivor team has done a good job here getting all the generators done. A little bit of a problem with the organization around the hook, where they went down right next to the hook, but nothing too worrying. I really feel like they can be confident that set 2 is going to be a good one.
Absolutely. Set 2 is going to be the Spirit set coming up on the Grim Okay, wait, hold on. Grim Pantry. Thank you very much. That one, however, is going to be Eclipse's pick, so is it up for grabs?
Hopefully. I mean, Grim Pantry, right, is the most interesting map that we are basically having in comp, because it's so rarely played. You have this main building that is so interesting. You have the shack that can grant some safety. What happens in the middle is an absolute gamble sometimes. You either get the strong filler pallets, or you're a little bit stronger when you're going towards the docks. So it's not really guaranteed what you are getting on your side. But I also think that Grim Pantry is flying under the radar when we are talking about scrims and practice. So if Valentines did their homework on Grim Pantry, they definitely have a chance here.
I would love to see them take that set, because we do have quite a variety of killers coming up. Now, just a reminder, because we had to go over them so quickly earlier, it's going to be Spirit, then Leash, Singularity, and possibly a Cenobite tiebreaker. We had a lot of variety on all of these sets, I have to add.
Yeah, so as you mentioned, Spirit is one of our the competitor for the next one. Leech, very interesting. As an information early, they are not allowed to pick the magical items, But Leech is also someone that we haven't seen too often on the competitive stage yet. So this is a big shout out itself for me that Valentines and Eclipse are opting to go for such underdogs in terms of killer and map roster. So very unique and interesting set here. Even Singularity has lost the popularity again. I think the tiebreaker Cenobite is definitely, we could say, an old friend. But on Rancid will be an interesting one.
I'm going to be excited to see all of these. We had our predictions earlier on, which we definitely did not agree on, as always. But do you think we're going to have more than 3 sets? I mean, you went with Valentines,
I think
so we have to, right?
Yeah, we definitely will. I don't think that we need all 5 sets. Either Valentine's is taking over now, and Eclipse will fall a little bit apart. We have seen that in the past, that veterans can be overwhelmed when the newcomer is taking over. I think it's going to be tricky if Eclipse is taking this set as well, because then I feel like the hope is slowly fading, and then I see it to be a very difficult task to come back from that.
Okay, counter argument though, set number 3 would be Valentine's pick again. So even if you were to lose this one, you still had at least some hope, because it's going to be technically in your favor again. On the Spirit set, however, yes, Spirit has been around for ages. We know how Spirit's been played. We know the strategies. You've seen it time and time again. You know, the playbook for Spirit has been written. You can read it. You can try to learn it. But getting something new into the trial on the Spirit set, very hard task. And also, once again, a killer you need to be very organized on. So I think this one could be one where I see Eclipse ahead, honestly. I think they're gonna take their own pick here.
Yeah, I really see that happening. Yeah. I thought there's more thought process. I thought there's more thought process behind this information that I wanted to share, but then I realized, no, I agree, and that's all I have to say. Interesting is the killer that we're seeing in this set. It's going to be Slips. Mathis gave us the permission to call him Slippy as well on the Spirit. And whenever the player is changing from the usual killers to a very specific player that is taking responsibility on the Spirit set, you can note down in your journal, we have troubles. So we are having an expert here who's facing Team Valentines.
Yeah, just like a red exclamation mark with troubles team. But we've seen them perform really well until it got to where you had to go in for the rescue and it had to be a bit more organized. I think if your first chase is long enough, then you can keep pressuring on those gens. Like if your first chase is long enough and organized enough to keep it from interrupting the generators that are currently being worked on, we could see a really good start for Team Valentines and even a really good result on the Survivor side as well. I think it's all about early game, really.
Absolutely, yeah. The early game will be a deciding factor, especially when you are playing against these veteran killers, right? For example, Slippy from Team Eclipse here. Because once they are in their rhythm and in their routine, getting the hook stages together, deciding sometimes where exactly you are hooked, so you are granting the killer some tactical advantage. Once all of this is being decided, it's really difficult to shake up the game again in a way that these veteran experienced killers are really starting to have trouble. So the only way to get them really is the early game, when it's not happening as quick as they wish, when the Hex Ruin in this case is not really getting some value because the killer is way too long busy with the first chase and cannot get the survivors of the other gens yet. Then you can really make the important turn for your match. So it's important that Valentines is playing a good early game here, potentially even one that is a little bit stealth involved, getting the killer a little bit nervous, making sure that yeah, the first chase is not ending too quickly in a tragedy. However, we are already having the first survivor on the main building here. Very clean phasing right after the survivor, but the distance is enough. The chase will last for quite some extra time.
Hopefully also the survivor that they wanted to be found immediately. That's maybe the only one that's been working on the gen, so the only option for Slippy in this one. Going edge map, however, so no pellet, no filler on this gen, but a survivor working on it. So we're already interrupting our own teammates. However, there could be some more resources on the P, but we're already running towards check. Maybe a tower they're more comfortable on, but we did corrupt some of our own progress. Tutti now being spotted as well, switching onto the Dwight, trying to get a first hit. Nice turnaround, but once again into the area with only one pellet. Right back into the main building, trying to keep Slippy on the main building this time. No down coming in yet. Those survivors are doing a good job. Reset immediately onto 3 bots or 2 survivors, possibly on gens, but no, none popping yet.
Not yet. It's not enough, unfortunately. Also interesting fact, the current average chase time for the opening chase in the Winter Circuit is 1 minute 40. On the Spirit, it's 1 minute and 2 seconds. So our Spirit players are doing a pretty good job using their additional powers on the S-tier killers here to shrink and shut down the first chase as quick as possible here. We're going to have a little bit of extra phasing. Scroller is taking the injury right here. Now we can only hope that it's not going to be a phase too quickly, but it seems like Slips is going to opt taking a little bit of a look onto the hook stage behind him. Meanwhile, he's losing the first generator into the match.
First generator done, but I feel like there should have been a second one. It's been a hard task to get that one out of the way, and the ruin is still standing. We did spot Ethi, so safe to say they're not working on the generator, trying to go in maybe for the trade body blocking to get the second stage done. One hit to interrupt it, but Slips knows that's not possible anymore. So we're gonna take the trade, but also this luck possibly right back onto Tutti, trying to get that second stage he's been wanting so bad. Phasing after him. Quick look at the generator progress. Scroll is pretty far, but the down on Tutti coming in really fast. Rebot now tasked with getting their survivor mates back up and standing, but Slips might be coming back.
Slips might be coming back indeed, and I think he realizes that he's in a very interesting key moment here. We have Scroller injured, so there cannot be happening too much, and if you get Claudette now as well, at least injured, you are having a completely almost an iron grasp around the survivor team of Valentines here, and the only thing that can save them would be an iron will to fight back from the situation. They are in hook stage coming in now. We see the reset. This is also telling our killer now that Scroller is not able to immediately rotate into getting Tutti Frutti, so the face on the other hook stage can come back here. Very difficult situation. They are getting Ethi off the hook. That's going to be the heal there very soon. But Tutti Frutti still on the hook, not rescued yet. Perfect timing there by our Claudette, moving in exactly when it needs to happen. But Valentines right now struggling against the power, we could say, from our Spirit, and not so busy with the generators at the moment.
Slips putting up a fight and already taking a survivor out of the trial. You have to wonder if at some point you might want to sacrifice one of your mates to get more generators out of the way to get the best win condition possible for your killer in the next trial. However, all the survivors are back. I was scared that was going to be a crap. All the survivors back up and standing. So for now it's a reset. However, Ruin is still standing. Undying is still standing. This generator is regressing vastly. The totems are on the edge map. It's looking really, really bright for Slips.
Absolutely. You don't have any reason to worry at the moment on the side of the Spirit. You can feel very safe, very good. everything is going according to the plan, you could argue here, even though Valentines is finding the full reset and we are talking about 3 healthy survivors. You're still a lot stronger than that. You already have the next survivor over here. You have the knowledge that not so much happened on the generators in the past minute here. So you have at least one full generator here in order to get the next survivor. Very good work so far from Slips, and he might be able to end this in an ultimate 4K.
Chances are looking good going into the face, trying to get him to ward. Is it going to ward back? Now it's going to be the ward into Slips 3 pods. Now on the task of getting even more time out of the way for their own team. We need additional generators. We need to be on the objectives. Scroller and Effie, how much progress is on your objective? 3 bot now getting hooked edge map, so it is a bit further away, so more distance that Slips needs to overcome to interrupt them, possibly, but a 3rd generator out of the way. Getting 1 additional or even 2 would be ideal for them to set their own killer up for success. Now phasing back into the game, interrupting Effie on another generator had a lot of progress.
Now rotation again needed. Scroller potentially has to come in for the rescue. There we already have him going for the unhook here. Not going to be the trade. That's very important for Team Valentines to not have a slug potentially on the ground and not losing a second survivor this early into the mid game here. Mind games coming out, perfectly executed. 4th generator coming out. So Valentines is picking up the efficiency and the speed. It will take a little bit more, but it's nice to see them making the important recovery steps here.
Especially on a killer like Spirit, right? Because in the last trial it was already a hard task, but in this one it should have been even harder, but it seems like we're getting into the gist of things. Also, a D-strike is still an option for 3bot who's trying to hide, but a Headless Spirit is on your facing, trying to get towards you. The Shack Pallet is going to save the day, however, D-strike about to run out, so this hopefully seals the deal for 3bots. This chase needs to be flawless now. Knife coming in, more distance, but the phase might be a problem. Hopping into the lock and trying to go for the outplay, but the grab is coming in, forcing Slips to the pickup, forcing him to hook 3bot. The other 2 survivors might be on the generators, but I don't think our 5th gen is gonna pop just yet. It will have a lot of progress though. If we did opt for the heal, hello Scroller!
Hello, Scroller, indeed. Out of nowhere, now Ethy, completely unexpected. The final survivor standing in the trial, and it's honorable that he wants to get the final generator out of the way, but it's not going to happen. Trying to trick the Spirit a little bit, and that actually worked. Very beautiful play here from our ace with the double back there. Throwing off Slips completely and making sure that he is gaining some distance. That's going to be now the pickup onto Scroller also. So Valentine's fighting, and this is absolutely great to see. Scroller unfortunately going back down onto the floor here. Pallet is going to be removed from the trial as well. Ethy doing a great job as the final standing survivor. Great long chase, great double back, picking up the team member, now unhooking the team member. So if we need a candidate for the MVP medal, especially when we're talking about the mid games, then it's definitely him.
Let's see if our MVP can also get that last gen out of the way. So far, we're caught in the loop. Saving your teammates, going for the resets and the pickups. Now everybody is injured. Another opportunity for Slips to completely snowball this and end the trial. We're not going for the D-strike survivor. However, it's Scroller. Still a smash hit you can try to work your way with. But I think we're leaving, trying to find someone else. Generators are red, good-ish. You can definitely work with this. However, we're back on the main building, checking if anyone has touched this generator again. But for now, it seems like we're tasked with the reset. Some scratch marks being spotted, though. This might be the start of a disaster for the survivors of Team Valentines?
I'm impressed that they are still standing, and in my opinion we should give them 5 extra hook stages of a bonus here, because they are having difficult situation after difficult situation, after our killer being dominant, then the elimination, then everything together basically, and they keep fighting and fighting and fighting, and it's so great to watch that. The number of recoveries that they have made here in just one trial is telling us something about the chemistry, about the will to fight, about the possibility to fight on that team. And this is why really no one should count out Valentines just yet. Unfortunately, Ada was spotted there going into the 4 lane here. Slips is trying to find the view onto our Ada here. She's now going to rotate over towards the filler pallet here right next to the chase, and if this is going a little bit longer, we might have the chance for that final gen, and that's also what Slips is realizing, so he's better hurrying towards the generator here.
Hurrying to interrupt this gen from getting finished. Try to spot a survivor on the hill, but we see someone who's trying to hide, not trying to get caught on the main building. Now we're at the ending, however, and it's a full life survivor, so this might take a long time. If someone else can take over that gen, might spill 5th gen for our survivors. Hit coming in right back to the main building, because that's all we can work with. Trying to go up, proccing their balance landing, getting even more distance. The phase is done. We have Scroller on the task of the gen, but it's not even halfway.
Not halfway, unfortunately. It's too much to ask, basically, if the chase is not going on for too much longer. Nice attempt here going into the corner, wasting as much time as possible, but I do think, yeah, the slug is going to happen. Slips is not going to let that happen here, and the difficulty is, ladies and gentlemen, the hatch is not an option for the survivors here. The hatch only counts if all the generators have been completed, so it's not going to be the successful extra points here. They would really need that final generator. The question is, can Scroller play so well hide and seek that they are potentially able to pick up Ethy one more time?
Well, now we're going back. Well, I guess the question has just been answered. Ethy is going back onto the hook, so Scroller still tasked with getting that last generator done. Are we gonna go for the save? You possibly have to, because it's not going to be enough time to get that last generator done, but also that ruin will have stolen so much of the progress you've already put into it, and this hill is, is providing Slips with a very nice view of everything going on, and I think we spotted Scroller, so this might spill the end of trial number 3.
Very much looking like that, and very well played by Eclipse once again. 4K with 1 generator standing is very great for your survivor team. You do not need to worry about anyone escaping in the upcoming trial. You can basically double, triple, quadruple, quintuple if you're getting a sub in some way or the other. You can just slam through the final generator, and then you are having the win for yourself. So for the Spirit of Team Valentines is waiting one hell of a homework there. We are hopping on a quick break, ladies and gentlemen, and use the time to refill your drink and getting some snacks. We'll be back with the 4th trial in just a second. Welcome back, everyone, to DBDLeague. We are here with the next trial number 4 between Eclipse and Valentines, and we are going to have hitboxes in the first chase, dropping the shack pallet as quick as possible, making sure that the injury is not coming through too fast, because after that you are having grunts of pain, and then it's incredibly difficult to throw off the Spirit here. Also running straight into the main building here, and we are going to have the first chase hopefully ending pretty soon, at least when we are talking from the fan POV of the Valentines friends.
And it's almost like we've seen this before. Hitboxes once again has to prolong this chase for as long as possible. The first survivor, the first chase, who marks the pace of the remaining trial. We do see that he got quite some distance between himself and Tutti, so a lot of progress on the generators if we're still up to speed. We've seen the survivors of Team Eclipse on the objective. We know how fast they are, we know how organized this can be, and another swing and a miss, +5 wood for Tutti. Might want to consider switching.
Consider switching indeed, because this is going to last a little bit too long now onto hitboxes here, and it's impressive how the survivor managed to completely get himself out of the grasp here. Corrupt intervention is almost expiring, and we are not having a hook stage on the Spirit yet. I don't want to sound negative, but this is definitely not too good for Valentines. The killer must feel the pressure, and we potentially need to switch to a strategy with a lot of changes between the survivors, spreading the injuries here and there and making sure that they are not getting away so easily.
Yeah, you need to up the pressure, get some more injuries, maybe even a slight going, have the most survivor possible busy, task them with not only the objective, but getting their teammates back up and running. But for now, everyone is still up and running. It's only hitboxes who we've been busy, who's been reset right about now, so completely new start for the team survivors, except that they already have some progress on these generators. Tutti needs to pick up the pace, and the question is, can you even afford to pick up a survivor? What can you do? What's the best strategy here, Dyer?
Best strategy is honestly switching towards a slug play. It might sound a little bit wild, and it might go completely downhill and you are getting zero staged. But it doesn't really matter, because if you lose the set point, it technically doesn't matter really how you lose it if you're throwing in enough risk to somehow pull the magic. And I feel like the slug play is something unexpected that Eclipse might not expect here, and that is allowing you somehow to make up for the pressure. Because right now we are already having a generator completed. There will definitely be a second generator very soon that is going to be completed as well. And our Spirit here from Team Valentines really trying to keep up with the pressure, unfortunately not being able to do that. We also see that we have quite long travel distances for nothing. Also, this generator will now not be protected anymore. So it doesn't even benefit the killer to search further on the main building here. Now you have to rotate cross map onto the docks. So I feel bad even for the killer, because it feels like he needs to be at 3 locations at the same time.
Yeah, Tutti kind of needs to split himself up because there's so much he's been tasked with. We do have a pop still at his disposal, but where do you use it? Safe to say, we got the reset onto Courage in time as well, so once again, all survivors back up and standing, back healthy. We got 2 generators out of the way. We need a miracle here. Have a slug be on the ground for longer. I get why we went for the first stage, but we did not get another down in time. We need a miracle. I'm so sorry to say this, but these survivors, they're doing a great job.
They are, absolutely. It's very, very great what they are showing us here at the moment. Kurosho going down here in the corner. We can tell what Eclipse is planning here, pulling Tutti Frutti as far away from the generators as possible. We see it very beautifully here, the 2 generators next to the shack and the docks, furthest away from where Kurosho was going down. So perfect setup basically for our survivors. Absolutely beautiful what they are bringing on the table here. Monsieur Mathis is going to be in the next chase. Potentially Tutti Frutti is not taking it, and this is what I'm worried about, because he's basically playing this trial still as it's any other trial that you are usually playing, but the fact that 1 more gen is the win condition, that is what worries me a little bit, because he's not playing like that.
I mean, if anything, you do have a nice regen going. But one more gen and it marks the win. We're already at the tie condition. A 4K now would mark the replay of the entire set. Courage back up and standing, and we're still going for the tunnel. No, we're going back. We can't have too much progress onto these gens. Someone's Half-Life hitbox now injured as well. This is a bit more pressure on the survivors, taking the time to kick the generator, to prep for the eruption, but we need a down and possibly even more of the slug. But these survivors have all the time in the world. They can play this safe. They can rotate out of the quote unquote 3-gen area. They can reset, and they can play this with patience.
Now into the main building again, 2 of the survivors over here. Is that the turning point potentially? Hitboxes was injured, not entirely sure why he's not trying to get the second slug and making sure that there's more time waste and more tasks to do on Eclipse. Very well done here by Courage, making sure that the double back leads into not taking the injury, more distance, more chase time, using this little bit of an Andy pallet here to get some distance, but also Tutti Frutti now missing a hit, and I think this defines a little bit the situation. Starting to panic a little bit, knowing that he should have gotten it down way earlier. So yeah, we can only hope that it's now going to be a very big and very fast change that is going to happen, and what we need for that is definitely a slug play.
The only thing working for him right now is that these survivors are playing this with patience. They're taking time to reset, so it's not going to be a 5th gen popping very, very quickly. However, if we continue playing like this, these survivors eventually are going to turn on that last gen. So you need these slugs going. Kuro's still injured. That would be a survivor out of the trial, but like you said, a second slug would have been nice, and then maybe go for Kurosh. Now he's been found edge map, but can you afford to pick him up? Is the generator close? We did get an eruption proc and a scream, so hitboxes should be on that generator. No more pressure, but it's a long way from those gens.
Long day and long way from the gens indeed. Eclipse might should take this chance to get the final generator out of the way. We have seen their coordination, we have seen the efficiency and how brutal they are jumping onto these generators, making sure that it's hard to defend for Valentine's killer here. However, we are not seeing any survivor around, so Pop Goes to Weasel is going to do a little bit of regression here, and all of the survivors have kind of pulled away. Fra is being found here behind the tree, was hiding and waiting there until the Spirit has checked the gen to then go back onto the gen. Mathis and hitboxes might jump onto it in the distance. We have definitely more progress over here, left very early. We can also tell the communication on the side of Eclipse is on point. When as soon as the Spirit is coming back, turning around, the survivor is already leaving. The same here, we're just coming over the top of the hill here, and Mathis is already leaving the generator and wasting every single second that's possible. And now the game is going to come to an incredible slowdown. The survivors will pull away from the generators, using this distance to go for the reset. The killer has to decide very carefully if he wants to go for these chases and when he's potentially overextending. But we have seen the reset onto Fra just a few seconds ago. So right now the survivors should be busy with healing.
Tutti is... with the agitation, maybe even trying to get the hook in now with 3-gen. There we go. The eruption definitely working in his favor, as well as the Pop Goes the Weasel. So the old perk build right now doing the most for him. He requires the survivors to make some mistakes though, because slowly but surely progress is adding up onto those gens. However, all hope isn't lost yet. Now that Crush is out of the trial, and the survivor is hooked in between our gens, maybe he can turn this around, Dyer. I think there's still hope. If the survivors
there absolutely is hope. Yeah, if they are making a mistake again, then I feel like Tutti Frutti will be in a very good position to make sure that he can take the advantage. The difficulty and the risk lays in what I described with the overextension. So he needs to make sure that he's not getting a little bit too excited about the potential chance to win and either forgetting about one generator that is currently being worked on, or accidentally following a survivor so far into a corner of the Grim Pantry that they can then just freely go for the generator. Nice use of the life here. Mathis making sure that it's not going to be the down immediately again, has a pallet available, and this is what I was talking about. Now we are going to have the full time here for hitboxes for the reset. He was also getting the generator a little bit progressed, and this is the danger now for Tutti Frutti, that he's not calculating the time enough.
Yeah, we've got all of these survivors back up and standing, Fra and Chase. But Math is back on the generator. We're on 60%, and we are picking this to try and get another pop because we had no time to kick for another eruption proc. We could make it in time though, but you have to completely ignore hitboxes, and still it's going to be more progress onto the gens. We are interrupting though with the agitation. Nice use of this. Math is being close, trying to get the first hit, but you cannot commit this because that generator has a lot of progress. If, close one, if you just focus on the gens, if you double this could mark the end. And also there was a little change coming because you can't kick these gens endlessly. You have a limited amount of procs onto these generators, so you need to decide what to do right now. There's 2 injured survivors and one of them is working on your gens. Go back.
Yeah, go back is a good thing to say here. You should really make sure that you are getting the hold onto your resources here, and that you're not trying to be a little bit too greedy perhaps on getting these survivors, because of course the survivors in the VC are also going to shout on you, right? They are saying, you can do this, you're so close of bringing us into the tie. So you need to make sure that your nerves are staying together, that you're playing this calm and collected, and you're not taking too much risk, because taking the risk right now could be ending in a very tricky result. We are phasing again on 2 hitboxes here. That's going to be the injury. We are on the docks here, pretty far away from the other generators, so Tutti Frutti needs to be careful with deciding who he's going to take, but a very nice phase, and he doesn't have the time though this time to hook the survivor. Needs to go back onto the generator over here. Eruption is definitely helping. We are going into the chase here, so either it's going to be Fra finishing a gen far away, or he now needs to rotate towards the docks to get hitboxes up. In this case, there would be now no generator progress, so you're basically getting everything for free at the moment. But in case Fra is currently grinding a generator because, okay, no, he's not. So basically right now, this chase on Jake is for free, as you could call it, because there's no generator progress in the distance. So if you get an injury onto Mathis here, then you're basically winning this reset time onto Mathis for free without making or taking a disadvantage.
I was gonna say, this chase is taking too long, but not if the survivors are taking the time to get everyone back to full life. Tutti, however, feeling the pressure, going back towards these gens. He is going to realize, though, that they have not progressed them further, so it's time to find the reset spot. If he manages to find the respot before they finish the heal, which they have, so that's out of the way. Mathis, no charges left on that medkit. That wasn't a crucial point as well. One swing and a miss onto hitboxes. Now Fra has all the time in the world again, however, to go for those generators or reset Mathis. I wonder if these survivors keep prioritizing these resets, though, if Tutti at some point might get the chance to snowball this. However, you can't. Yeah, let's not forget our objective here. We did put some more progress on that generator, but we have 2 more, and we haven't been on the upper gen in quite a while.
Very intense trial, that's for sure. We are basically talking about 1 or 2 mistakes from one side until it's absolutely flipping into one side. So either we have a terrible hook stage again, where we are right inside of this pretty huge triangle, but with the agitation, it's definitely possible. And then we are talking about basically the GG for the survivor team, because then the Spirit will be around can look onto the generators, or we are having the overextension from Tutti Frutti, full reset again. That's punishing for our killer because the survivors can now split across the 3 individual generators here. Tutti is going around trying to get the hit, and this was now in the advantage of our Spirit if he gets the injury here, but very beautifully done. The stun out of the face, chained with the blind, then hitbox is going right behind and not taking the injury here. This is now where the time loss is drastically on the killer side and where he's getting punished. The other 2 survivors will already be back onto the generators, and here we are. They just need the final generator. Tutti Frutti drastically overextending the chase. It is what I was warning him about, and this will not be enough time to go back. He even falsely estimates that he has the time to hook this. He's not too worried about any of that. So if nothing goes wrong now and we are not having an internet cut or a burned house on the side of the survivors, then it should be generator number 5 coming out, and that's indeed the case here. Very tricky game, but Eclipse on top.
What an intense trial, and just one false estimate has decided the fate of this trial, because we weren't aware of the progress that one generator had, right? If that generator also would have been affected by the eruption proc, you maybe could have even put the Pop Goes the Weasel on it as well, so that could have turned it around. Tutti did put up a great fight, and I don't think all of these 3 survivors are gonna get out of the gate. At least one more survivor will be put into the dying state. Well, listen, I think someone's volunteering here as well, trying to get the grab so the other 2 can get out of the trial. This was very intense, and I think ultimately what happened was, at first we were draining the survivors of resources. For example, Mathis's medkit played a huge part in them being able to reset so frequently and not having and not needing a second survivor to come in for the reset. But then it took too long, and also the amount of kicks you can apply to those generators slowly but surely declined as well. So we were draining the resources from both sides, and these survivors just put up the most amazing fight. This was so tense. I loved seeing this. Insane gameplay, but also from Tutti.
Very, very well done. Mathis is saying in the endgame chat, GG, subscribe to DBDLeague. If it would be one of our players, that would be different, but since Mathis is also a staff member, this sounds like a little bit of self-advertising. But when we're already talking about it, if you consider subscribing to DBDL, or you have some bits in your pocket, or you are planning on a donation even, be ensured everything that is coming towards DBDL in any shape or form, in forms of bits, subs, donations, will be used for the improvement of DBDL. So we are talking about prize pool for hosting bigger events, production commissions, better production assets, improving our bots, for example, the 1v1 ladder, anything that is connected to the competitive spirit of DBDL will profit from such things. So if you are leaving a generous donation, subscription, or what is tipping with the bits, I think it's called. If you're leaving any of that, our hearts are going out to you. Thank you so much for supporting DBDLeague. And with that being said, we are saying that Tutti Frutti is staying on the killer side, as Blue mentioned before. The ultimately deciding check is now going to be onto the leech here. So let's find out what they can do on Father Campbell's Chapel. We will be back for you straight after this very short break.
Match point time for Team Eclipse. Tutti now needs to perform the hell out of this trial to get Team Valentines a chance for a 4th trial. DBD, friends and fanatics, welcome back to our trial number 5.
Trial number 5 marks the beginning of the very important, potentially final set for Team Valentines, where they can make something happen. Important reminder about the rules, ladies and gentlemen, is that the survivors are not allowed to use the magical items that can be found in the map. The rule that applies here is the same as when they would open a chest. So very drastically, I believe that we are going to punish this with the forfeit of the match. And insane what we are seeing here, while I'm yapping about the rules still to give everyone a basic information. The head-on into the flashlight there, that was disrespectful, Blue. I would feel so angry as a leech right now.
I feel offended for him. This was insanely, and a clear sign of Kuro saying, hello, I want the chase, excuse me, please follow me, which Tutti, well, disrespectfully denied and is trying to find someone else, but unfortunately has lost both of these survivors, so now trying to re-find someone with the orb, but no one there yet. We know someone has worked on this gen, so maybe someone's still close. We're taking our time to check edge map. Let's see if that might have wasted too much time. Our corrupt is still standing, not for much longer though.
Not for much longer indeed, and that might be tricky here. Once again, I feel like Valentines is staying a little bit behind the to-do list, right? The early game needs to go much better if this is the final set where you can really make a decision, where you can put pressure onto Eclipse, trying to fly here after Kurosh and trying to get instantly onto the back. That's going to be successful, using the ghosts for that, so it's going to be the Omega 2 tap right here, and that's good and really what Valentines needed. On the other hand, it was 2 minutes and 18 seconds, so not really the fastest chase that we could have had here. We can only hope that it's going to be a lot more chases like this towards the end, where you get very quick downs.
We did get a pain rush prog out of this as well, however, so some progress being denied on those generators. We have info on all 4 survivors, or at least 3 of them, because we had Mathis, Hitboxes, and Kurosh busy if it wasn't Fra who went for the unhook, but I believe that's who we are seeing, so a lot of information for Tutti. Maybe we can get some pressure out of this. So once again, the skeleton's coming out, so he can run. The road throw was trying to take a hit. Kurosh on the ground again, maybe a D-strike coming in. The answer is no. So a second stage for Kurosh and no generators have popped. Is this a recovery maybe?
Hopefully, and I feel a little bit bad how often we have to mention the term recovery in this best 5, but unfortunately this is the situation that Valentines is in. Eclipse is doing a fantastic job, from the efficiency on the generators to the coordination, pulling the killer away from the currently downed and chased survivor. So this is all looking really, really clean that we are seeing here. We can take a look now if Kurosh is going to go into the elimination, which would be incredible if Tutti Frutti is able to enforce that onto the survivor here. He cannot go for the biggest camp, but he's getting the hit onto hitboxes, so very well done. That's going to be the next down. Tutti Frutti is shining. We have 1 survivor close to elimination. We have hitboxes on the 4. Fra is injured, and we don't even have a gen yet. Valentines is rising.
And I don't think anyone's rotating in for the save. It did see Mathis on a gen, I believe, so Kurosh might be leaving this trial with 5 generators to go. We're focusing on the objective, getting as much out of the way as possible. Fra Half-Life being tasked with picking up hitboxes again, and indeed, this is Kurosh leaving. So Tutti in a pretty good position now, finding Mathis, the only full life survivor, being able to put even more pressure onto him to tag out. Well, he's not going to get the hit from the skeletons, but his weapon is going to strike. Now for the pickup. They don't want this to be the snowball, but look at this. Tutti in a very good position. Oh, no one there.
Yeah. Oh, no one over here. So unfortunately not going to continue the streak of injuries and downs that Tutti Frutti started here. And it seems like that Eclipse is really realizing that they were having a little bit too much of confidence maybe going into this trial. It's the right term. I wanted to choose a well-thought one, but I really think that we can talk about confidence here, because they were coming in very likely expecting that they are going to smash just like in the other trials. And this doesn't work, because now out of nowhere, one of these survivors is dead. No, they are not going to continue this streak. It is going to be the flashlight save right here. We were just talking about it. Maybe too much confidence. But when hitboxes is juicing like this, then it is maybe time to bring the confidence back on Team Eclipse, that they can even handle this as a 3v1 scenario. Healthy survivor in the chase now, somehow even able to dodge this here, taking the injury now, but another gen popping. This is the chance for a comeback.
A second generator out of the way. Hitboxes needs to keep Tutti busy for quite some more time for them to be able to put out another gen in time, or even reset one another, because this has a lot of potential to be a snowball. Fra back to full health, picking up the pallet again, so that should mark it down onto hitboxes. So we're still in a high pressure situation for these survivors. I don't think there will be another gen proccing just yet, because they spend time on the reset, and Tutti knows that as well. We're going for the hook in the carnival. We have multiple gens still up and standing. I think we're still in a pretty good. I was so scared that was an internet disconnect, because it was going so straight. Jesus, I got scared.
Yeah, please no. We had one internet disconnect today already. Please not a second one. So glad to see that all of our players are still in the trial here. Hitboxes on the hook. Fra will need to take care of that, as Mathis is now going into the next chase here, taking the killer towards the shack, more known to be the very strong tile. Very nice crouch here, making sure that it's not going to be the hit with the ghosts. And this is kind of the chase during a mid game that can lead you on the path of recovery again. With a longer chase like this, you can bring back the pressure onto the generators, you can get the necessary resets in, you can also split a little bit across the map, so the survivors will now be able to attack different generators at the same time, which is ultimately increasing the pressure and the efficiency with for the survivor side. Hitboxes here going over towards this relatively weak filler pallet, especially when the hand is coming in to uphold the pallet. So we're just circling around here. The hit is coming out onto hitboxes, holding W towards the main building and the other generators. That's an interesting decision here, but Tutti Frutti smells that a 4K is realistic and wants the 4K with as many gens standing as possible here. So he decides to go straight back towards the other survivors and should get another hit here.
He also knows that these survivors are taking the time to go for the resets, and this should mark another 2-tap into the pallet. They've been painfully aware of these though, but with the reset coming in, you know, no one should be close to get this pallet save. So a hook onto Mathis, which should be another fresh, and I believe for one, going for a hook that was closer to the generators, and for two, it could be another pain rest proc indeed. So that puts us in a good position once again. I wonder if he can up the pressure once more. This is where Team Eclipse has been shining, however. The coordination, even in sticky situations like these, being able to get everyone back to full health and put some more progress onto these gens. Maybe even letting Mathis drop into a second phase for another generator. I'm curious to see how they're gonna play this.
Now back towards the center here, trying to locate where the next survivor is for a chase. I also love the switch in the play style that we really see by Tutti here throughout the trials. At the very beginning, he was far more focusing on protecting the currently hooked survivor, forcing second stage, trying to camp a little bit. And now you can really tell that throughout the trials, we are really seeing a chunk more on the confidence side. He's not caring too much anymore about the survivor that is currently being hooked. He's more aggressive, chasing the survivors of Eclipse, making sure that they are taking the injuries, and I really like that. And I think that Valentines really benefits from that, because the far more confident Tutti is at the moment with an elimination on 3 gens still standing. So a lot better potentially when we are talking about the win condition. Very nice use of the power here to block the Paladin getting Fra onto the floor. So we might even talk about a 4K with gens up here. Might be even 2 gens still standing.
He got the eruption proc and the last stack of pain rest, so a lot of generated progress vanishing off of the survivor's objective. Another sphere to try and see if someone's on that generator without possibly having to rotate in, or getting the survivor to rotate out of this faster, so you get a free hit, possibly suspecting them to be in a locker. We had a head-on stun already coming in, trying to see where the survivor is hiding. That's been working on this generator. Kicking it for another possible eruption proc, but we're still suspicious of the area.
And we are having some downtime from time to time. This is what worries me a little bit, and where I see the chance for Eclipse to strike with some generators. But after getting some good downs and some hook stages, it sometimes takes a bit until Tutti Frutti is going back into a chase with the next survivor. And this downtime could lead realistically to some generators coming out due to being quick here. So let's see if Tutti Frutti is quick in the chases and the downs again. Quickly the hand to pick up the pallet here, and that's going to be the ghosts coming out, but unfortunately not going to find the target. Mathis serving a little bit of juice here, finding himself being the target of the flying attack as well, and that's going to be the down onto Mathis right here. Fra is still injured in the distance, so this is telling us that they are prioritizing the gens at the moment. So let's see if there is going to be a result from that side. There should be one more now coming out from hitboxes, and this can already be a very important difference, right? Talking about 3 gens completed, so forcing the other teams to complete 4 is still not the nicest win condition, but definitely a drastic change.
Let's see if Tutti can seal the deal. 2 injured survivors in front of his face, going in another chase in our TNL wall with the generator that has quite a lot of progress. Kicking that once again for the eruption, sending us there right towards the circus, but no one's getting tagged. Half-Life Froggy being found again. There's a pallet to work with, but well, we do have our ability that's going to deny that one possibly picking up. Nope, pick up not going through. We're destroying the pallet, but the other 2 survivors are on the task of resetting, so a bit more time for him to get the down onto Fra. Another pallet close. The skeletons should be ready, but he doesn't need them down coming onto, you know, these survivors have went for the reset. No more progress onto those generators, but you might want to up the pressure a bit. I feel like if we continue to go with this pace, it's not bad, but there will be at least 1 more generator proccing, so maybe a slug play would be beneficial at some point.
Let's see what Tutti Frutti can go for here. We are having the second stage onto France, so it's just a few additional seconds until it's going to be the full elimination. Hitboxes and Mathis here hiding a little bit, trying to rotate and trying to make sure that they are getting the unhook and trying to get the necessary pressure in. I would really love if we see a 4th generator. I have to say that. When we are looking on how good Eclipse has performed after losing their survivor, I feel like it would be fair if generator number 4 is coming out here, because they are still keeping up the coordination. They are still making sure that they are dragging Tutti Frutti to the right corner of the map here. And even here, the timing, we see Tutti Frutti going into the main building, and as soon as he's doing that, in perfect moment, literally perfect moment, we are having the unhook. This is so well done, and it might be overlooked very easily, and it's just a little detail. But now even the locker grab coming out, someone into the double blind going out here on the locker. Yeah, hello, what is happening on the side of Eclipse? We're just talking about the little things that they are doing. And they are doing the absolute juice here. I don't know what to say. Someone needs to carry me into the next hospital.
Also, he jumped in with quick and quiet, so a head-on would have been there as well. If the chase would have been continued, there would have been another stun that we could work with potentially. This was insane. Also, these locker grabs, for those who don't know, you need to get grabbed out of the locker, otherwise these flashlight saves don't work anymore. So to get that in an official is amazing. However, not much gen progress in return. But I'm still flashed.
Yeah, you better be flashed from the flashlight save there. It was so well done. And now I'm not only rooting for generator number 4. They can repair 9 generators if they want to. They can repair all of them, reset them, and then do them again. I'm all in for that because that was so well played. Absolutely well done there that they are enforcing the grab from the locker so well into the head-on and the blind right afterwards. Tutti Frutti is getting bullied on the Father Campbell's Chapel here. Eclipse serving juice after juice, and this needs to be used though for the next generator, and they are doing this. And this is the difference to the Swift team that you, ladies and gentlemen, are calling out on Twitter after your games, and Eclipse, because they are using this extra time for the generators and for the progress. Mathis getting it done right here, right now, writing a new story of qualification quality in the winter circuit. Very well done. Valentines will now at least need to get all the generators done if it stays like this, and honestly, Eclipse might have far more surprises for us.
This was criminal clips farming for Twitter afterwards. Hitbox was absolute MVP, keeping him alive until that last generator is done. Now it's a 2v1 situation. If the next chase is long enough, you might be able to finish a 5th gen, maybe even get someone out of the trial. But for now, you need to stealth it up a little bit. Going into the basement, the generator is still regressing, so I don't think we're gonna check that just yet. But just in case, we're hopping into the locker. Tutti Frutti has a hunch. Something stinky. You know someone could be in the locker, but it's none of the ones upstairs. And we're going down to check it. And we hopped out of the locker in time. Hitbox is getting the hit.
More criminal action here, potentially. That's the question that I have. Who's hiding in the locker? Who's preparing the next flashlight? Is it going to be something criminal again this time? It's not going to work out. Hitboxes is having, has to accept the fate that Tutti Frutti has onto him. It's going to be the nice view from the hill hook here, though, but it is going to be the hook stage for him. Second hook stage here, a little bit of extra time. I don't think Mathis had enough time to get the final generator out of the way here, and we should have seen the arm there. No way that Mathis is getting away with that. He definitely overpeaked on the door frame, showing himself, but Tutti Frutti letting that slide. We have one more save here. Unfortunate for Tutti. That could have been the early end into the 4K 2-tap onto Mathis, though. So I think 4K1 is fair to assume here.
Let's see what hitboxes can do, how much time you can provide for Mathis to possibly crouch towards the shack as well, or prepare a possible pickup going back into the locker. He's going to smell that. We're going around, the head-on is dodged, and you're not going to get that once again, hopping into the locker one more time, but Tutti going for the pull, and this, in fact, should mark the 4K, but after what a trial, might I add. This has been insane. I'm still shaking from all the clips that we've been farming for now, and this should be ending with a beautiful Mori onto Mathis and a 4K one for Team Valentines.
This Mori is, I think, personal when we are looking at how the trial went with so many flashlight blinds and add-ons and serving the juice. So I think this was one of the most personal Moris handed out that we have seen in our tournaments so far. Very well done, Tutti Frutti. We talked about it. A lot more visible confidence now on the killer side for Valentines, and that really, really improved the game. We are going to set up trial number 6, ladies and gentlemen, the potentially last trial for this matchup to decide if it's going to be Eclipse or Valentines in the main stage of the Winter Circuit. Stay tuned. We'll see you soon. Let's see how this is playing out here for Valentines. I'm so hyped. Tutti Frutti, Ethi, CopJ, and Scrawner taking responsibility, and this is potentially their last chance to make it into the main stage of the Winter Circuit. Tech from Team Eclipse is going to take the... Vecna, can you stop interrupting me on my intro here? Taking the responsibility and getting the first injury already. And this is pretty important to get a first injury this fast into the trial, because the previous trial didn't go at all as you wanted to. Basically, Valentines just needs all the gens done. And 4 gens done, and they will already be fine.
Excuse me, someone's trying to interrupt the pickup here. We're trying to get another hit onto CopJ. Whooping around the pallet. It's gonna... The circus didn't do anything to you. Excuse me, sir. We do not destroy our surroundings. And the pickup coming in onto Tutti. So, the early down that we got has just been picked up. Somewhat of a reset, but we're back on to Tutti, trying to get it down a second time. Window coming in. We're gonna want that because we got Bamboozler with us on the roster, but it's still a longer chase than expected now after we got the first down so quickly.
First down coming out, and we need more. We need more onto Tutti Frutti. We need more on the other survivors. Perhaps getting some injuries across the board would be great. First generator already coming out. All the gens are needed. Again, remember that this is going to be the win condition here. So you have the chance to play around a 3-gen. Valentines would need to break that. Otherwise, they are only staying on the tie condition. But it's still going to be a rough task, because the Leech is really not a killer that we have in the books for 4K.
Nope, but we are also we're keeping the pain res for now. Another hit onto CopJ, so one of the 2 remaining full life survivors has to rotate in to go for the save at some point. But I wouldn't be surprised if Cop called that he's not continuing the chase. They're gonna let him drop further down, maybe not into second, but they're gonna take some time to get through the rescue. But look at that scroller coming in, rotating over, trying to maybe get the save, or at least taking his attention. Tutti, though, getting closer and closer to phase number 2.
Yeah, and this can be the important play, right? Getting this second stage as quick as possible, and then making sure that Tutti Frutti is leaving the battlefield as quick as possible here. That can really be the chance for Tech and Team Eclipse to get the win condition in. Ethi has been revealed here behind this TNL with the aura reading, though Tech opts to not really chase down that survivor yet, knowing also that Tutti is guaranteed into the second stage. So instead now checking on the generators. You don't want to leave them untouched for too long on the killer side, otherwise the survivors are just going to happily taking the invitation and slamming the progress into them. Back here towards the hill hook. Very perfect timing, actually. Ethi was just rotating in to get the unhook on the team member, has now been interrupted, so someone else needs to come over and take the unhook, and that creates quite some chaos onto Valentines now.
Oh, this is looking dangerous, but we did get the rescue, and a 3rd gen is in the makings. 20,000, and we did miss that hit somehow. Now we're able to go towards the next pallet. It's getting picked up again, and you know what's going to happen. The down in the pallet. Will this be more safe? No, we're trying to use the tenacity to get even more time out of the gate. A third generator popping. 1 to go for the tie condition. This marks the point where they're going for 1 reset, but look at ECL already having over 50% progress on the generators.
2 more gens, ladies and gentlemen, and Valentines is back, and we can hope for their return and their qualification for the main stage. So to all the fans of Valentines, it's time now to press the thumbs. They are close. They have 50% on another generator here that would also at least guarantee the tie condition. So we will then play out set number 4 and 5, and if there's no decision yet, we are coming back to the leech later on. Scrawler here taking a very nice hit for tech. You will definitely take that any day of the week when you're the killer. And the interruption of the shack generator. Hex Ruin will do a little bit of work here. Gaining some extra time is really important for our killer. Ethy trying to reach the next filler pallet will do so. The hand is not available anymore, so it is also going to be the blind now. It really feels like Valentines is aware that this chase here in the mid game is such an important one and might decide over their faith here. Ethy doing a fantastic job vaulting into the main building now, getting some distance in. I don't think he's going. He actually makes that window. This was such an important vault. They should now guarantee get the 4th generator done, but the killer already rotating. A little bit of panic might be coming out here.
Well, they expected him to rotate in. He is indeed leaving the chase, so these survivors are leaving a generator with 80% progress. Tech finding Ethy, Half-Life survivor, getting into the locker, trying to force the pickup, trying to force him to get another hook stage, but we are indeed dropping. Seeing the other survivors around here, this cannot snowball, otherwise we are in a lot of trouble. If you hook this, however, you're going to get another hit on pain rest, so this area currently very, very dangerous.
Very dangerous indeed. Trying to hold W here away from the killer as quick as possible. Valentines need to be careful now that they are not like acting that they are already in safety and that they already guaranteed the tie set here, because they need to remember that the generators have the biggest priority here and that they should better get the necessary progress into those objectives. Tech, in my opinion, is doing a fantastic job here. He's getting relatively quick downs. He's checking onto the generators, is extremely aware of his surroundings, and calculates the time really well with how much time the survivors still need for another generator and finding good timings to interrupt them. So this is really, really well done. I just see the difficulty for him when we are looking here down to the shack and all the way up in the circus to defend all of these gens. So Valentines should at least make it into the tie here.
Yeah, also good thing that they realize they cannot focus on only one generator. You need to get a second one on the way, because if you're only focusing in one area, it should be very easy for Tech to snowball this and to keep them from progressing this. Ethy though, back up and standing. Cop G's position known, and we know that survivors, especially with the ruin in play, are going to rotate back onto the gens that they've already been working on. The question is, are they working on the shack generator again, or are they going for the reset? Because right now we're pretty far away from the area, so if Cop J can take this chase for longer, then this might mark the 4th generator being done. 1 hit applied, and I think he knows we're pretty close to completion. This is not going to get there in time. If they get this, this would immediately mark a tie condition, and look at that. 4th generator done.
Very, very well done by Team Valentines. We are definitely going into set number 4 now. It now is just a question, will we are entering set 4 as a 2-0 for Eclipse? Or is it going to be the set win here for Team Valentines and pushing it into a 2-1? One generator decides about this question, one more gen, and Valentines would close the gap a little bit to Team Eclipse and Ada over here. Scroller has done quite a lot of work in the meantime. The generator far above the 80% mark. Really, really well done. Going back towards the generator now, a little bit of a 5% regression coming out after the kick. X-Ruin being the regressor, so, but we need to repair at least 5% to make it into the stable status, so the generator doesn't decrease further, and that's not going to be the case anyway, as Ada is now finishing it. They are making the story here. They are coming back onto Eclipse. 2-1 set number 4 is needed. Eclipse definitely with the advantage there, as they have picked the Singularity, but Valentines will be so confident now that they might just continue this winning streak here.
Very impressed by the survivors of Team Valentine. They showed how organized they can be, how they know which objective to prioritize and when to make the right decisions. Yes, Kobe is going to be another sacrifice, but it's a sacrifice for a win. 2 survivors leaving the trial as well, so the even 4K coming in. They more than surely came back, and they came back strong with a win. This marks a 2-1.
Very, very well done, Team Valentines. I'm very sure that all of your fans are very happy. I'm very happy because my prediction is on you, so you better continue this strong. Singularity is up next, ladies and gentlemen. Let's see if the underdog is taking over the veteran team. We'll find out after the break.
Valentines on the task of a comeback. They took the last set, so it's currently 2-0. Still in favor of Eclipse, so we are still in match point. But for now, Valentines are still standing. Slips coming out on the killer side for Team Eclipse, already scanning out the area and trying to find his first survivor as quick as possible.
As quick as possible, indeed. The early game, we talked about it multiple times today, is such a deciding factor. And especially with this Singularity, you are able to get it very quickly. A little bit delayed though, because here we're going to take the pallet. But a little bit of a surprise, this has been blocked. And on top of that, we see Rapid Brutality, a very interesting perk, plus 5% of the walking speed, but not able to gain Bloodlust anymore. Very interesting decision here by Slips. Next one is the TNL quick vault after the teleport, and that should be the down onto Cop J. I think with this first chase, you can be very happy.
Slips went for all the speed that he can get with that. We do not have a generator in return.
Yeah, I'm not entirely sure if I was the one who couldn't lose here Blueberry anymore. In case, yeah, the others are saying it was the same for them. So welcome back, Blueberry. Nice to see you here. I hope you're more often around in DBDL. We are having the injury over here, going back on to Cop J and checking on the hooked survivor, but Valentine's preparing a very nice unhook here with a good timing. Slips is checking on the hill, trying to find where the survivors went. First generator is coming out as well, so we can treat this as a 1-for-1, one hook stage for one completed generator. You have a good reason to feel confident on the survivor side, yet Slips is looking for more, already setting up the cameras here now, the teleport, so we have to pre-drop this pallet. It will be broken very quickly, and the chase is going back onto the shack. Next teleport coming out with a quick vault over here, but fantastic read by Cop J, is quickly dropping the shack pallet, making sure that he's staying safe. Very good chase here actually by our ace.
Very good chase, but we're also melting resources over here. Later during the trial, you will not have a lot to work with. We do have a second survivor coming in, maybe trying to take a hit to prolong this chase even more. We did get a first generator, a second, and maybe a third would be ideal. I do not think it's going to be a third, but a second one we have to get. This chase has been so long. Tutti trying to take a hit, but it's not possible. Kobji going on the ground again, maybe immediately securing a second stage, but there's a flashlight save coming in, and he's back up and standing.
Nine, they are taking the revenge of what Eclipse has done to them earlier. Very, very well done here with the flashlight save. I don't even know why, like what happened in the first two sets. Valentines played shy, played slow, didn't want to take too much risk, and then when it all came down to the decision, their killer player Tutti Frutti absolutely went wild on the leech, and now the survivors playing out of their mind here. Second stage on the Kopje, unfortunately that didn't work out, but they are doing such a good job here. Two more gens will be completed in the next 30 seconds. Ethi is in the chase here, but not injured yet, so there's a little bit of extra time. The survivors could use that to get rid of generator 3 and 4. Valentines, look, it looks like it's a completely different team.
They're just cranking out these generators. Kubji's still on the hook, but they are trading this insanely well. We have two survivors injured now, however, so we need to be careful to not have too much of a snowball potential. Now Slips knows where at least one more survivor is, and they are injured, so that could mark a luck for him, but we are rotating back towards so we know the rescue's coming in. This might be a trade, but you're gonna get away. You want that survivor out of the game, but the fourth generator proccing is huge for the team Valentine survivors. Oh, that could be a down, but we make our way towards the next window, and we're not even going for that. Another teleport coming in. A second survivor there trying to take it down so Kubji can stay in the trial.
On to the next one here, Cop J with a lot of responsibility. This is a very important mid-game chase that's done so important here, getting some distance and some extra time, even going for the greed. I think that was a little bit too much with the fake for the win, and it's going to be too short. Yeah, the teleport. Try it, Anderson. Finally, you're getting the down there onto Kopje, but he sold you for €1 on the Coal Tower 2 here. Very, very well done by Valentines. Unstoppable even now. They're cranking the gens, cranking the saves, and it's so beautiful to watch here. An underdog team coming out to say to face to the veterans, listen up, you are going to drop unexpected in the qualifiers, and right now it looks like Valentines will even dominate on this set as well.
Now Scroll on the task with keeping even more time in play for his own team. His generator was the one with the most progress, so it's going to be interesting to see if they choose to push a second one or maybe even rotate in to get this one. So far, it's looking good. Playing around this pellet, winning the mind game. Now Slips deciding to kick that pellet. One resource gone, teleporting away. This pellet has been used already. That's what we've been talking about. The resources have been drained with the first chases of Cobb. Jesus, this is going to mark it down. How far are these survivors with the generators? This one hasn't been touched, so it's safe to say they're either resetting and are keeping these heals on 99 or pushing a second generator. And with those heals coming through, and we're hearing that progress on the top gen, can he interrupt this one?
We're getting rid of the breakable wall here to make it a little bit easier. Scrawler onto the floor here. Ethi going to be in the difficult position because there's very soon coming the teleport out. That's why he's leaving over here into the jungle gym. But even here is the chance to teleport onto Tutti Frutti, hopping into the locker to make sure that the grab is forced and that a little bit of extra time is passing for Slips until he can get into the next chase. Scholar being picked up. Unfortunately, though, it is now Valentines with the back at the wall. Slips has has brought back Eclipse by some phenomenal chases here. Very, very well done. I would hope that Valentines is getting the final gen out of the way, but right now it is even realistic that Slips is securing the 4K with a gen standing. That's very possible.
Someone would have had to focus on that last generator. Now every second counts. This is high snowball potential for Slips. You know where all the gens are, you know where all the survivors are going, and another proc on to 2T. One survivor still on the ground who needs to get picked up. 3 resets who would be beneficial, but you don't really have time for that. EC still needs to get picked up. 2T putting in the work, and the other survivor back up and standing. Do you prioritize the gen, or are they gonna go for the reset?
Yeah, that's a tricky decision, right? When you go for the reset, it takes so much longer to get back onto the generators, and you might not receive that time anymore. On the other hand, you're taking a lot of risk when you're staying injured. One teleport like this and you're going to be in a very tricky situation. Scroller can sing a song about that going down here. Ethy, the final standing survivor. He has been the final standing survivor before, earlier on the Grim Pantry, and did a fantastic job with the unhooking and keeping the team together. But as further as we are progressing, it does look tricky here. Tutti Frutti is going to be the last man standing, and it's coming to an end. 4K, 1 generator standing, meaning once again that we have the win condition of just completing all the generators, just like earlier in the Spirit set for Team Eclipse. They've done that before. The big question is, can they do it again? And with the new confidence that Valentines gained and potentially still has on the killer side, it might not be as obvious as last time.
I'm so excited to see what their killer can bring to the next trial. I do wonder though, if you would have prioritized the gen at one point, if you would have been able to get a 5th gen out of the way. Do you think that would have been possible? Or was it so. Not? Yeah.
I think it would have been the right decision though, at least, because I totally understand the thought process of going for a reset and keeping it slow, right? Because you really don't want to run into the killer. But I mean, Singularity is a very hard killer, especially on Cold Tower 2, not the largest map. He can teleport onto you, then he has the quick vaulting and the quick breaking ability, and it was kinda expectable that Slips would read where they are meeting up for the reset, because there weren't too many locations with a possibility. So I feel like trying the gen hardcorely and trying to force it out of the way and then failing that would have been better than going for the reset and failing that. If you know what I mean.
You know, I completely agree. I wonder how far the tower gen really was. I think that ultimately decides if it would have been possible or not. But regardless, you're looking at the 4K, so maybe just try to crank out these gens. So could have been one wrong decision. However, up until this point, they did an amazing job, because like you've said, you know that Singularity can drain all of these resources really quick, so it's about how many gens you can get done in these first couple of chases, and I'm excited to see what Team Valentine's Killer will be able to do with this.
Yeah, that's definitely one hell of a task, that's for sure. But now they're looking so much stronger. So I think there's a different mood down there in the VC. They are realizing we can really keep up with Eclipse. We don't have to be scared, and it might be a little bit late to come back from a 2-1, but they are trying, and they are so far really impressing me on the Singularity set. So let's see what they can do in trial number 8 on the Cold Tower 2 with the Singularity. We are back after this short break. Welcome back, everyone, on the Cold Tower 2 with the Singularity. We are having Fra, Kurosh, Los Gitanos, Yonot. This is due to Epic not allowing the player to change the name, so now they're having a new identity in DBDL and had to sign up accordingly. And Hitboxes, the GOAT himself. But Tutti Frutti is also a GOAT after playing so well today, but for the first chase, our GOAT from Valentines is receiving a slap by the head-on.
Team Valentine's wrath has been awakened, and they're trying to shut it down immediately with a head-on stun coming in the first chase, trying to get some more distance or his attention on a different survivor. Really, hitboxes in the first chase, once again getting that stun +5 would apply to the face, making it towards the main building. Maybe not the area you want to continue that chase in. EMP on the rise as well, so we're losing that chase, and we're gonna try and find a different survivor. Let's see what these survivors have put on these gens so far, because I think we've been busy with getting these EMPs out of the way.
Yeah, the EMPs is a good idea, I believe, at the beginning. It's a change of the strategy as well, not coming in aggressive in terms of let's hop on the gens and slam them out, but instead coming in aggressive in terms of we are denying your power early on and we are making sure that we are in safety and that we can just go for our game plan. So might be very well done of a thought process here for Team Eclipse. Tutti Frutti going for the teleport in a second, but has a little bit of hesitation on the side of Kurosh, and that's why it's going to be an earlier down than expected. I think that our killer was not expecting to get the down with an M1 for free. That's going to be the teleportation over to hitboxes, so definitely trying to chain them together. First down came in after 1 minute and 55 seconds, so a respectable first chase that we have here on the side of Eclipse. And Tutti Frutti, I think he really wants more and wants to put the pressure down early on.
We're on the rampage, trying to snowball these survivors into a slugging situation. Pickup coming in, but we were teleporting right back and trying to put Kurosh back onto the ground, but not happening just yet. Second survivor close, being the last one, full health. We're trying to get him out of that state. Another pilot coming in, nice stun onto the face. So these survivors are now trying to go for the reset, trying to get this pressure out of the way that Team Valentines has built now from the get-go. However, you know what that means? No generators are being touched.
Now we are getting over here into the more open area, difficult for the survivors, and the next teleport even was just about to mention. Tutti Frutti needs to make sure that he finds a good balance between enforcing slugs and injuries on the survivors and getting the hook stages in, because constantly slugging might not be the best tactic against a team that is so organized. We have seen that multiple times throughout the day that it doesn't work on to Eclipse here. Back onto Fra, that should be the down. Yeah, that's going to be indeed the down onto the floor here before the pallet. The question is it going to be a pallet safe? And our killer making sure to check the cameras before, so the next injury coming out. Now in exchange for the first generator here, but Tutti Frutti really impresses me.
Oh, trying to get a second survivor on the ground. First generator was out of the way, but we're keeping them busy. Now hitbox is down as well, and infectious fright proccing again. So we are not gonna stop the rampage? Yes, we are. Okay, pickup coming in. We're up and standing, but the first hit stage also out of the way. Can you get them into a slugging situation now? That would put them into a loop possibly. So this next chase, really important.
Into the main building and the down onto Fra. Very important now that we have two tasks to solve on the survivor side at the same time. One unhook over there now solved, and the down over here. Very well done again how Valentines is approaching that. Yeah, so much more confidence can sometimes lead to completely different outcomes in the games, and honestly Valentines is just impressive with how they are handling this from the get-go, being down by 2 sets, and right now it's still looking really good for them. Keep in mind everyone, Team Eclipse needs to get all generators out of the way, and right now we are having 4 of them still standing. The only sad news is we're having the survivor slugged on the floor, so he's not progressing a stage. And in the meanwhile, Eclipse got 3 survivors reset, so that's a big time loss for our killer here.
Yeah, the pressure completely gone. Second hook stage coming in, but that's obviously not enough yet. You need to build that pressure up once again. Let's see if we can do it a second time. We need these injuries and these slugs to come in a bit quicker for them to get caught in the loop that we are desperately trying to force here.
Back onto the next survivor. TNL here. Hitboxes was doing there well earlier, but now it's Los Gitanos again who's going to take the next chase here. First injury again after the very punishing reset from Team Eclipse here. Tutti Frutti will realize that, will be aware that these survivors have taken quite some time off him. Fra also off the hook, very likely with the deliverance there. So Hitboxes is going to take the next injury over here, but we need a little bit more than that. We now need some downs and some hook progressions. Tutti Frutti cannot slug so much anymore, needs to be more definite, we could say, when aiming towards the win condition here. And actually it was no deliverance, second win. Thank you for the correction there from our back office Savannah, our producer here, not only on top of the stream but also with the perks that are being played. So second win, saving a lot of time. Hitboxes going down onto the floor, second gen coming out over here. Eclipse slowly finding back into the match here, that's for sure.
Who's had a great start for the trial, but now has lost all his pressure, and Team Eclipse starting to shine once again on their coordination and knowing when to choose which objective. We got all the other survivors back to full health, so this is going to be a tricky one. Getting hitboxes out of the game really fast could be beneficial for Tutti now, but we also need to keep these survivors busy, not only on these gens, but with healing each other and picking each other up. So who can we find? No one is currently infested, only Courage being found once again. Maybe the teleport, but that's not coming in just yet. Trying to spot someone else possibly, but no survivor being close. Question is, are you going to stay close to hitboxes, or are you going to protect these generators? Fra already being close. Lets me wonder though, how much time is going to pass until we try to go for the save or the trade.
And into the main building we go again with the camera shaking a little bit in the distance. That should be the third generator being completed. Interesting will be if they get the save onto hitboxes. The answer is yes. Back in the trial, no loss of a survivor, no 3v1 scenario. I think that is important that Eclipse is holding the survivor team together here, because losing a survivor this early would make it incredibly difficult to get the 5 generators that we really need for the win condition here. Hitboxes just circling around, Locker juking as well, 5 seconds of an advantage here, and that can sometimes be such a deciding factor. I don't think we are seeing the pick even because the decisive strike is expected here, so Tutti Frutti can not camp the locker though, because this is I don't understand this decision making, and I disagree here. We are having the down now, but you are losing 15 to 20 seconds with this player. I can only hope that he really calculated that through, because the survivors are on the gens. We know how efficient they are, and so far we are not having so many hook stages yet that it would be justified to take something risky here, but the Mori now coming out eventually, survivors not being able. So I take it back. I do agree with the decision. He proved me wrong.
The mooring being here is an important part, coming in clutch, and the second survivor being injured. However, I don't think we're going to be able to keep that 4th gen from popping, and we've been in one area the whole time, so we're not having as much map control as we used to be. We don't have as much control over these survivors. We're not giving them enough tasks.
Yeah, this is a good point, I think. The tasks that you have to give them, right? And at the very beginning, the to-do list for Eclipse was so long that they were immediately overwhelmed. We had the hook stage over there, the down here, the injury there, the necessary reset, and so on. But now, unfortunately, and this happened quite sometimes today, Tutti Frutti not able to really put down the pressure that he was establishing, right? For example, when we the turning point for me so far in this trial was when he allowed Eclipse to take a 3-man reset while not even hooking the survivor that is on the floor. That is simply gifting time to the survivor team. And this is the deciding factor. And if you are asking me if Valentines wants to improve, then they really have to make sure that this downtime is not going to happen anymore.
Yeah, the pacing of the game has been interesting across the trials, and the point where it could slip away. So far, though, we found another survivor, Kurosh, still injured, so we're upping the pressure again. Teleport coming in onto those grounds, and the hit as well. Maybe a slug. Even if they get another generator out, I think the tie condition is still pretty possible if this clock is coming in early. No proc of infectious though, and we're not going for its luck. We're picking this up. So a fourth generator should be coming in.
Should be coming in indeed.
Oh.
Let's see if they are able to do that. Los Gitanos is on the first hook stage though, so this might be a little bit of an advantage here for our survivor team. 2 minutes of hang time basically that you are gaining there. Hello Ada, was nice playing with you. Laying there on the ground like a slaughtered salami. And Tutti Frutti going over here, trying to find the next survivor. Ace, unfortunately, not handing out the injury for free. So let's see if the teleport can potentially solve this problem, because Tutti Frutti doesn't really have the time. We can tell by... okay, they are now healing. I was about to say, if the reset is now missing on the unhooked survivor, then we can tell that they are instantly hopping onto a generator, but they are taking time for the reset here. Fra holding W, his responsibility is now gaining some time for the team. It is, however, with the elimination that came through, still possible to take the 4K with a gen or 2 gen standing. So we might go into set number 5 here.
Because the Painless reset that gen, or was gonna reset that gen, so they decided to leave that and go for, let's say, for the resets and take out the pace, slow down a little bit, reset, and try to play this the safe way. This, however, gives Tutti another opportunity to even win this set, so we play some more cameras, trying to get them infested, trying to get opportunities for these teleports. Now the full life survivor able to teleport onto that one, on the LT wall. First vault coming in, but we are a bit speedy due to the overclocking, but so far, nice run. No line of sight, no teleport. Now on the corner, we're gonna hit that. One vault coming in, but this chase is going really great.
Very well done here. Eclipse starting to shine under pressure, it feels like. And they are really making sure now with these longer chases that the pressure is coming back onto the generators. I mean, Tutti Frutti, he can be happy that this connected, because that looked like a successful fake that we saw there on the window of the CNL wall. But yeah, nothing anymore from the pressure we had at the beginning. It feels like Eclipse almost enjoys losing a survivor, so they have a special challenge here. They are absolutely celebrating that.
And another heal coming in, going into the cameras. No fourth gen just yet. Once again, taking things slow, going the safe route. Trying to not give Tutti any wiggle room to play this. keeping the EMPs to disable him. And now he has to go turn around. Kurosh met with one tag, and now possibly the teleport, but once again the EMP comes in handy and removes the prop, but we get another one right off the bat because of the second combo being placed. Now we're starting to work on these gens. So the next chase, once again, has to be a fast one. Teleport onto Kurosh, hit coming in as well. Now we got the speed boost. How fast can you get this down? But the balanced landing might come in handy.
Hopefully fast, yeah. So let's see if they can keep it up here. Going for the teleportation again. Kurosh should reach the window. Quick vault right after. He didn't really have much besides the window tag. Obviously not going to work out here. The killers are too experienced to let that happen. But we have once again a fresh hook. And this is the very important part. You are gaining time again for these generators. Our double up survivors will be punished here though with a pain rest. They should be able to make it in. Never mind, he actually has a teleport available, so very punishing now. They have to leave the generator they were about to finish, and they would need another one to take the win here. So I feel like it's getting more and more realistic that they are taking the tie, and then from there we are going into set number 5, but that Eclipse is winning this, that might be a little bit too tricky.
Starting to look good again for Team Valentines, keeping these survivors busy, especially with the hook on Kurosh. Staying in the area, realizing Fra might be rotating in, have to slow down. Once again on the generator though, trying to get that 4th gen, trying to get the tie condition out of the way. Now still trying to keep him from doing that gen without having to rotate over, but this might spill the opportunity to go for the save. But we found Fra, the one who was trying to go for the rescue. Now we have to change objectives, but we're gonna pressure out that one generator, but we're able to interrupt. Teleport coming in, another hit as well. This could mark a win if you play this out well.
Well, this is now horrible news for Team Eclipse here. If that's not going to work out, then we are actually talking about a 2-2 scenario in this best of 5. And then the ultimate decision would come out on the Cenobite here in the very last set of the day. I can only hope that Eclipse is remembering what of a great mid-game they played here, and they should get generator number 4 done at least for the tie just by that. But on the other hand, Tutti Frutti doing such an excellent job defending these generators, holding the pressure together, not getting too nervous. Really, really well done. We also have to remember that Tutti Frutti is playing in every single game here, basically. So it is hours now at this point, almost reaching the 3-hour mark that he's constantly trying to keep up with the level of Eclipse. And now towards the end, he's very successfully doing that. So that deserves a lot of respect here.
Apparently, a bit of exhaustion is needed for him to crank up the survivors, teleporting on top, the balance landing, coming in, getting a bit more distance. Fry was on the ground, but getting picked up again, but that also spills the information that no survivors are on these gens. Another chase, another opportunity for Tutti to get down, another opportunity for these survivors to finally get enough time to get that last generator going, but Tutti's not going to let that one slide. You have to keep in mind he's not able to kick these gens as much anymore as he might like to, so we're taking this one to get another hook. All the pain rests out of the way, but so is Kurosh.
Now 2 survivors have the responsibility to get the pressure in, to also get the progress into the generators, the pressure onto the killer, leading them away from the active generators. And Tutti Frutti needs to be on point with the calculation here. He's sticking a little bit too far two A's, if you're asking me. Now leaving the survivor back to the gen, realizing that it took too long, will certainly go for a kick onto the generator to establish the 5%, but we need to keep in mind not so many kicks can be applied anymore. The animation is showing up when 4 out of the 8 kicks are applied as a minimum. So I didn't keep track, but we might have 2 additional kicks here until the generator will be protected by the entity. Ace hopping on a second generator. That's a very smart choice by Eclipse here, because then they are dragging the killer constantly from one edge of the map to the other without allowing too easily getting the hold of a generator here. So very well done by the survivor team, but Tutti Frutti realizes, calculates very carefully, and if this survivor here is going down too early, then this might be very horrible for Eclipse. They are managing to go for the vault on the shack window, getting or staying as the winner in this mind game. So Tutti Frutti now has to travel cross map again to defend the other generator, and we see immediately Eclipse survivor getting back onto the generator over here, but A is crouching into the wrong direction. There was exactly the camera where the teleport is coming from. So Fra is going down onto the floor, and now it's a photo finish. The question is, how quick, how good can this survivor be onto the generator? And I think he was being found there on the main building. Not entirely sure. We have the MP. Yeah, Tutti Frutti knows where the survivor is located, I believe. So this should be the final chase. And that should also mean that we are in a 2-2 scenario for Valentines now.
It would have to be a miracle for this not to spill the win for Valentines. Another teleport coming on to Las Granas. He wants the pickup. He wants to try and get this for another run, but that's not going to happen. Both survivors on the ground. Team Valentines are probably taking a moment to celebrate this, because it did not look like it was possible, but in fact, this spells the win for them. It is going to be the 2 versus 2. Dyer, I can't believe what's happening. I can't believe what we're witnessing. It's like we awakened a completely different team in Valentines.
I'm sorry, I'm so overwhelmed here that I'm losing my entire health. I mean, I told you in the prediction.
Yes,
I don't know why you never had trust
Okay,
into Valentines.
you said 3-1, so your prediction is going to be wrong anyway. So
Yeah, fair point, but the trust into Valentines, ladies and gentlemen, I'm telling you, Unoya was the same. When Unoya came into AHL, everyone said, yeah, now they got this one team into the All Hollows League to show mercy to the teams that are trying to get in. And then they went into the playoffs even of the All Hollows League and have caused quite some upsets over there. So Valentines might just do the very same here, and Eclipse is about to drop from the qualifiers. So let's see if we are going to have the ultimate comeback story where the newcomer team, they're not even newcomers anymore, but where the underdogs are slaughtering the veterans out of the tournament before it even really starts. Let's find out. Trial number 9, the Cenobite on Rancid Abattoir. We'll see you after the break.
we are going all the way. It's the tiebreaker. We're playing Cenobite company coming out on the killer for Team Valentines because frankly Tutti has had enough. This man has been playing killer for the past hours and we need to switch things up. So let's see if KJ can confirm the win or if Eclipse now manages to pull through and take the win that they've been trying to get since set number 3.
This is the ultimate showdown between Eclipse and Valentines, ladies and gentlemen. Mathis here with the box in the hand early on, and the Cenobite is such a fantastic killer. for the tiebreaker. It requires the perfect mix of mechanical skill on the killer and survivor side, has some exciting mind games. Body blocks are possible on the survivor side for great coordinated play. So everything that you want to test basically when you are trying to find out who deserves the main stage, joining the other 15 teams of the winter circuit, and who has to pack the things and unfortunately admit to their parents that they didn't make it into the tournament of their dreams. Going over here towards two survivors, actually. There was a David that was just very unexpectedly crossing our path. Mathis taking the first hit here. David rotating back towards the generator. So once again, we are seeing Eclipse being on the gens as quick as possible, trying to be efficient here and denying the killer power, just like in the previous trial when we had the EMP being taken early. We are now seeing the same with the box, so the survivors don't need to be worried for that for a little bit longer. Grinding here on the jungle gym, trying a very nice fake there, even though it didn't work out too much. Very nice attempt still, and so far it's looking quite good, especially when Tech is able to play this harvester into his advantage.
Going for a long run over here, trying to fake it with the chains copy on the floor. Another cube is being solved, but we haven't had any generators just yet. We don't have pain res in-game, however, so this should mark the first generator being done sooner or later. First stage coming out onto Tag 1 as well. Oh! And the Grim denies you your own kick onto the gen, and two survivors are gonna be found on the main building. Which one shall it be?
Which one shall it be? Spoke BlueberryYum, and we'll find out in a second here. Good for Eclipse that Mathis has found the reset also, so they are not opting to go for something too crazy here in the set number 5, because what we have seen in the past is also that teams have the tendency to go for something very risky and very extreme because they feel under pressure, and so in set number 5 they are really throwing everything at the killer, and then it becomes a little bit chaotic sometimes, and whenever you're taking the risk and then it's not working out, you are anyway being in a difficult position. So it's very good here that we're seeing the survivors staying cool and collected, getting the necessary resets in and playing this out in a very good way. David, though, is... Okay, he makes the shack now. Was about to say if he faces the chains, but unfortunately Kopjay not able to get the chains onto him. Second injury here, wants to go away from the shack, which is very understandable. We see it very nicely here. We have the gens that are also suffering from the eruption on the top side, so there's no reason at the moment to go all the way down there and taking the shack. That is quite a time loss. So Mathis is in a way better position, not only on the weaker tiles, but also closer towards the generators, but then with the head on and the flashlight save, an absolute disrespect towards Kopjay here, and he's gone. He's gone. No, there he is.
Okay, we rediscovered Mathis the Juicer as he's got his new title claimed. Now the head-on coming in once again. Now the cube is being solved. Kopjay is still committing the chase onto Mathis, trying to get another down, trying to get another first hook for this Grim Embrace deck because a second gen by now has been procced. Still the pallet going, one turn around to get the eruption, marks the second Grim stack, which is about to proc. We are going for a hook that's further into those gens just to have a bit more pressure, but this third gen isn't able to be denied. So now everyone's back to full health. The cube has been saved. Survivors are somewhat chilling, I think.
Mathis on the hook here. I also think that was a very personal hook stage after that head-on with the flashlight, but we are progressing a little bit. But even more progress is on this survivor side with Eclipse. 3 generators are completed already. Very, very good efficiency and good work there. We are seeing Tech in the distance, very close to the shack, instantly vaulting over the window here, making sure that the killer is not getting the injury. And Kopjay needs to make a decision, though. He cannot go for too many survivors testing where they are located. So this couch chase here is kind of definite. You really need the down onto this survivor, and you need it a little bit fast because Eclipse is doing their homework on the gens. Nice.
A hit through the pellet, but indeed we need to pick up the pace. Cubsy needs downs and he needs them now. Another eruption proc would be nice, but everyone else is back to full health and it will be more than one gen. It's been being worked on. Maybe even the Mathis being close main gen could be a spot for another head-on play if you wanted to offer that. And it's right there he is, but you missed the head-on. Still, it's going to be a hit tank from Mathis, a 4th generator done. How can you recover from this?
Back into the jungle gym here, pallet dropped early, and there is the runner Mathis again, getting time for his team, making a good job here around the harvester, especially for more M1. Yeah, this time it's not going to work. Great to see how Cop adjust the playstyle onto what he has seen from the survivor team. Doesn't want to risk anything, so we're also going for the slug here. Very understandable decision. Eclipse, however, has also done a good job in splitting the generators. We see the travel distance here takes roughly 25 seconds to go all the way over here, and they are confident and getting the last generator out of the way. Ladies and gentlemen, that is a rough trial now for the Valentines, especially after having 2 sets back to back that looked so wonderful. We're talking about a few stages here, and we better get some fresh hooks in the end game, because otherwise the chances will shrink significantly.
Well, good news is a fresh hook. Bad news, the gate has been opened. Another good news for Cub J is that everyone's half-life, but we still have people who want to tank. Another down onto tech. That could be an opportunity for Fra to run away towards the other gate. Choosing to go for this survivor, however, not going for the pickup is a risky one. We do not know if the other gate has been open, and if we even make it across. Maybe a reset could come in, maybe they're gonna rotate in, but for now it's only Fra. It could be another down, faking on the chain. How much resources are left? How good can you zone this survivors? You can't afford to break that pellet, and you need to keep him in the trial. If it's only zoning him to die from endgame collapse, but the timer is still paused because Tech's still on the floor, possibly on purpose, but he managed to go around. Mathis saves the day, opening the gate, getting these chains off of the teammate who's now just left to try to fall out for the last survivor performance of Team Eclipse.
When you are trying to go for too much, I was thinking while watching this, maybe it would have been an idea to go back to slugged Mathis and just getting 2 more stages. Obviously not as great as having a fresh hook, but it would have been something. 2 stages blue, that's horrible for the tiebreaker.
Yeah, agreed. It would have to be a near perfect game. You have to have working heal chains, you have to come in and take hits and still be on the gens. Winning this would take an immense amount of coordination. And even though we've seen amazing performances from them in the last couple of trials, I don't know if this is possible.
I also feel very bad for Cop J here, must say that. You are coming as a killer after your team has made a 2-0 into a 2-2 against a veteran team. Then you are taking the killer responsibility, and then you are getting 2 stages. And I know that a lot of people out there are starting to judge and are saying, how can you get 2 stages on the Cenobite? How can you throw this away after 2 great sets like this? How is this? How is this? But I actually want to protect Cop J here a little bit. We need to put it into context. It is a hard responsibility and a very big task to take this responsibility on your shoulders, stepping up there. There's a lot of pressure due to the tiebreaker on your shoulders. And to everyone who might start judging Cop J or has something mean in mind, ask yourself if you would step out on the stage in front of so many people. So no hate towards Cop J. I know that sometimes it's the big question, how can this happen? How can you lose like this. It happens when great responsibility is mixed with a very great pressure. And I feel like, yeah, they have absolutely done a fantastic game so far, and it also doesn't mean that it's over. 2 stages is definitely not ideal, but still something that you can recover from. And if they are able to do that in trial number 10 is something we're showing you after this very short intermission. Hello everyone, trial number 10 in the DBDLeague, deciding who's making it into the winter circuit main stage. We have Eclipse with Slips. That's a very nice rhyme that I found out in trial 10. And we are having Team Valentines with Tutti Frutti, Ethi, CopJ, and Scroller. Unfortunately, trial number 9 did not work out as great as Valentines had that in their papers, I believe. So we can only allow 2 stages on 1 survivor. And then we would all need to get out of the door. 2 stages on 2 survivors will be a tie. And if we have 1 kill, basically 3 stages, then we're having the win for Team Eclipse here. And that's not really looking good, because I think the Dwight was supposed to take a hit and is unfortunately coming in late.
I think we're cooked. We already found the cube twice, basically. These survivors have been located, 2 people are injured, 1 is going on the hook, and we are still on the task of getting that damn cube solved. This is a bunch of tasks for them, and they need to solve everything at once. Best case, immediately, because also we need to get all of these gens done. Oh, and mind you, get that person off of the hook. So, yeah, it's a lot.
You opened it.
It's a lot indeed, a lot to take, and the hope is shrinking smaller and smaller. You're coming into the trial, you know that maximum 2 stages can be handed out. And then on 5 generators, basically pretty much into the game. 55 seconds, says Toby, our tournament analyst. 55 seconds into the first down. That is really not how you want to play the match when you are on edge of dropping from the qualifiers. CopJ is taking the down right afterwards. That's hook stage number 2 here, and 1 more. Basically, he could face camp that survivor into elimination. That would be enough to secure the win for Eclipse and sending them into the winter circuit main stage. I feel like that Valentine's is a little bit sad right now. Maybe I feel bad for them.
Listen, technically, if they all escape now, they win this. So, theoretically, still possible. Realistically, probably not. We're still playing out this trial, though. CopG does have some additional seconds on the hook. However, all of our survivors are injured. We see no one working on the gen has had progress. You need to save CopJ, but no one should be able to do so, because everyone, like I mentioned, is still injured. You face cam this, you take CopG out of the trial, and that would mark the end.
CopJ is snipe. That was all I have to say to this gameplay action. Snipe. Yeah. So we have the down onto CopJ, and that makes it officially. That's going to be Eclipse going into the main stage of the winter circuit against Catalyst. They will be playing on the next Saturday at 9 p.m. Central European Time. It was a wonderful story, in my opinion, for Team Valentines. They have presented themselves so much, especially when we keep in mind that this is a team that is trying to get their names out there and that is constantly working on improving. I feel like after tonight, they absolutely deserve that people are counting them in for good games.
Team Valentines came in wanting to make their friends and fans that they've brought in with them proud, and I think they've done so. They knew this one was going to be a challenge. They're playing against veterans who have years of experience. Multiple people are known names to the DBD community, and especially with us in the DBDLeague. They can be more than proud, putting up such a fight and getting us into a tiebreaker, which even on the main stage rarely happens. So thank you so much to Team Valentines, but also congratulations for Team Eclipse for making it into main stage and providing us with such a show. I'm very excited to see them competing against the other more established teams who honestly should be very well-known opponents to them as well, just in different constellations.
Yeah, you better be scared when you're seeing the Valentines on your next match. Toby's also adding from the background that this is not Valentine's core roster that we are seeing here. So when they are having the very ideal roster combination, I feel like they are going to be even stronger. Ethy going to be on the hook here. Tutti Frutti and Scroller are both injured. Not entirely sure if they are planning to go for the reset here. Tutti Frutti at the moment with the box also to make sure that there's no further advantage taken. Scroller is going to take the chains right here. Might not make it too far after dropping from the hook, from the hill here. But Slips is also playing this very well here, making sure that there's a short glimpse onto the generators, not that they are getting completed too quickly. So I really think Eclipse is finishing this very nice and setting themselves up for a great main stage.
Absolutely, still playing out this trial, even getting the chains on to Ethy there, back onto the ground, having all of the survivors busy once again, and just taking the rest of the trial as a scrim, providing us with more entertainment, but also them with even more practice than they've already had. Another chase being started, the box in Tuti's hand, and the shack is his best friend making his way over, but if these chains hit, I doubt you're gonna make that window. Maybe closely, but we're opting for the putt. Never mind, that's a swing and a miss. Very optimistic to swing for that window, but it's fine. We're gonna go run another round. Tutti once again providing us with a really nice chase. Probably would have needed that a bit earlier in the trial, not gonna lie, but there comes in the down. We know where the last survivor is, and it's going to mark a two-man slug. Slips tries to end this with a 4K.
Yeah, very, very well played from both teams tonight. Exciting best of 5, and allow me to once again point out how wonderful Valentines has played this year. Very, very well done to keep up with these veterans player, but Eclipse also. Very interesting games, a lot of fun games also, right? This is why we like these players, for these head-on coordination, the flashlight saves, being a little bit wild in their trials. This is what makes the games with them so entertaining as well. So this is something that we can really appreciate here. How's the tournament now continuing? You might ask yourself. We are now having 16 teams in the main stage. 8 were pre-selected. For example, Eternal, Elysium, Severance, and all the big names that you remember from the All Hallows League. And the 16 teams that were sent into the qualifiers were playing these little best of 5s, and the 8 winners are now going against the 8 pre-selected teams, creating some very interesting matchups that I'm going to announce you in a second. But before that, we are going to see that Slipsy is trying to locate where the team of Valentines is gone. They are now being found on the box over here. So next chase, maybe even a 1v1 starting on the shack here.
Because Tutti opened the box and Slips said the funny thing, but we're gonna choose a different survivor to go after, choosing once more to try and end this with the best result possible, trying to keep another gen from popping and still playing this out with all the discipline that they've had, which is also one of the arguments they've used in their previous interview. So I think that's really nice to mention. They said they're gonna show up at any time and no matter how they're feeling, and I think that has came through for Team Eclipse.
I had just had a deja vu because we had this hill scene here before with the chains and the ADA jumping down. Now into the main building here. We have one remaining pallet over here. Not the strongest really, especially when you are in the chains, but Valentines is playing this well until they don't. kill is coming out with the Mori avoiding all the hook stages and the fresh hook as well. That's going to be a little bit of a movie worth ending that we're seeing here, and we're saying goodbye to Ada vanishing in the ground there together with Team Valentines. Another gen coming out, and this is also what's really great. They're fighting to the very end and getting the best possible result here for them, something that we can really admire here as well. Dropping the pallet, taking the chains for it. However, Ethy needs to go for a little bit of a longer chase here if generator number 4 is supposed to come out, running all the way into the corner here. So that might be the time that Tutti Frutti needs to get back on the gen over there.
Ooh, but the downs coming in. Ethy getting left on the ground. He doesn't care for another hook stage. He wants the 4K. We're playing this out completely. Tutti, the one, the only, the man, the myth, the legend who's been playing Dead by Daylight for way too long tonight, is the last survivor whose lips needs to find in order to end this trial, and we can spot the blood. This is going to be tracking, and I thought we almost lost it for a second, but there he is. Last chase of the game. And once again, we find ourselves on that one filler in main with the chains. Not the easiest to play. Pellets get dropped. We're running around. No vault plays in tag. Getting another one though, but this should mark the end.
Now, 4K as a finisher here. Very well done, and congratulations to Team Eclipse with the main stage. Ladies and gentlemen, let me guide you through the fantastic games that we are having from the upcoming weekend onwards. If you want to have all the information, bracket, main time schedule, rules, balancing, you just hit !Discord now in the Twitch chat, joining the community, and there you can find everything. You can also ping our tournament analyst Toby if you want to learn more about the perks, about the team's tactics. They can answer you everything that you need. We are having in the main stage of the winter circuit, kicking off with Elysium going against Loyalty, Misery is playing Ascent, Severance going against Jinx, Oracle against Affliction, Eternal against Team China, Sinners against Rapture, Calamity against Synapse, and Catalyst against Eclipse. Very exciting games that are ahead of us starting next weekend. Be aware, please, that we are starting at 4:30 CET. So basically the time that we started yesterday when we had the Team China playing. And this goes for both ways because we have 4 best of 3s per day. So we are starting at 4:30 and then 6, 7:30 and 9 throughout the evening. You are better getting a comfy blanket and some snacks for the weekend. All the way until March 8 will be the winter circuit. There's the grand final. So we are having an exciting tournament ahead of us. I think the qualifiers kind of define what we can expect for the main stage, and the qualifiers have been very exciting, great games, great shows, very unique play styles and tactics. So I'm very optimistic that we will have a fantastic winter circuit tournament. Thank you everyone who was already around during the qualifiers. We had a few hiccups with the servers and the lobbies, creating some longer breaks from time to time. Thank you for that support through that as well.